We're live, Jay.
All right. Welcome to the chat, everybody. We got a few promos for you. And once we get back from that, we'll have a brief song and we'll get right into everything. So, in the moments, about to see some promos.
Welcome to the Outer Realm with Michelle DeRoche and Amelia Pisano. Airing live on the United Public Radio Network, 105.3 FM in New Orleans.
You're listening to UFO Undercover with your host, Joe Montaldo, right here on the Paranormal Radio Network.
Welcome to Negotiating Happiness, the show that helps you find happiness, success, and balance in your work and life. I'm Adriana Fiestra, your host for this journey into entrepreneurship and personal growth. We're broadcasting live on 107.7 and 105.3 FM in New Orleans as part of the United Public Radio Network. We explore the latest strategies, insights, and stories from successful entrepreneurs and experts. From managing stress to building a thriving business, we've got you covered.
Are you ready to explore the unknown? Dive into the world of the strange, mysterious, and unexplained with Eerie Expeditions magazine. Each issue is packed with spine-tingling tales, cutting-edge paranormal investigations, and exclusive insights into hauntings, cryptids, UFOs, and more. Whether you're a seasoned investigator or just love a good ghost story, Eerie Expeditions magazine has something for you. Join our growing community of truth seekers and adventure lovers. Subscribe today at EerieExpeditionsMagazine.com and unlock
Sorry about that.
That's all right. Hey, Carrie. Hey, Mike. Thank you, Jay, for playing that. Hi, Carrie Lynn. Hi, Michael.
What's happening?
Hey guys, very cool song, Sean. I'd forgotten about the Nazi guy at the end. He's like, yeah, oh, all that gold. I'm with you. That was pretty cool.
Is that really your funeral song?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Really?
Burning bridges. It is.
Well, it's funny. I didn't know that either. I'll actually try to play the one that I'd like them to play for mine. There's this really good band in Texas called the Scottish Rogues, and they are like winning competitions all the time of like the A-level pipe and drum bands, and they have a really good version of Scotland the Brave. It's very, very good. We got Mark Eddy with us.
Cindy.
And Joe Fox and Cindy all in the chat room there. So not everybody's in with us yet, but so how's everyone's weekends going so far?
Pretty good.
I had a day off.
No way, really.
3 days off, but I missed a payment on my car and they took it, and it's in a lot in West Virginia, and I can't get it until Monday.
Oh, that's not good. That's not good, dude.
So pissed.
No.
Why would you? I mean, they have it's a recovery place, and they're closed on the weekends.
Oh.
And their weekday hours are 8:30 to 4:30. So,
so is it open Monday though? Is it Monday a holiday for you? Don't you have to wait till Tuesday?
Well, federal holiday, I do believe in the federal buildings, but they should be open. If they're not open, they're going to get an earful, and so will Toyota.
Wow.
Yeah, and when they took my car on Thursday, and then I was getting paid on Friday, and I would have been able to get all current with them right then. It's just 24-hour tweak. That's all I needed. Just 20. Oh, I'm so mad.
That's very frustrating.
I don't blame you, but I'd like to say something real quick. Everybody, as you know, this is a holiday weekend, and if you could honor the men and women who have died in order to give you this 3-day weekend, send a little prayer, whatever you do. If it wasn't for those who have passed, and I'm including Canada on that too. Please, it's Memorial weekend, and you got a couple minutes to say thank you.
Yeah, without them, we would have quite a few less privileges around the planet. And I would say not just memorialize those that have paid the ultimate price. A friend who was in the Army or a friend who still is, thank them for their service, because that's high stress, and you can pay up to the ultimate price with your life in that kind of a industry.
Right, exactly. Thank you, Cindy Mitch. Appreciate that. I don't know. This is like a sad weekend for me. It's been for a very long time. Well, the reason being is because I was in the Navy, and I had a lot of friends who passed away while they were in the service, and it's kind of sad, kind of hard, But you know what? If it wasn't for them, we would not be doing this show tonight, and that's the way I look at it. And that includes the soldiers, women and male soldiers in Canada too, Carrie.
My daughter was born on a military base, actually.
You know what? I didn't have the privilege to work with the military, but my father did contract work for the Navy, which was very cool. And none of it is top secret anymore. But back in the day, he wasn't allowed to talk about it. But every once in a while, he let a few things slip, and I found out later on, once the technology he made was out of secret, that he got the Navy to abscond with the Superman logo to slap on his technology that was on our spy boats out in the Pacific and Atlantic spying on the Russians.
Cool.
That's pretty interesting.
Yeah, the story is when I was, I don't know, I think I was 6 or 8, I don't remember.
Hey,
but
Kurt, we were all doing great, buddy.
Yeah, hey, thanks, Kurt. Yeah, he was in Bermuda or the Bahamas doing sea trials with the technology that he was making for the Navy, and when he came home, he always brought me something. So he opened up his briefcase and he had this big box and he gave it to me, and it was Superman's kryptonite. It was like 4 rocks they painted with like glow in the dark paint, and you just put them under the light, and then they would glow dark. So I put them next to my bed, and they would glow, for 10 minutes, whatever, when I go to sleep. But then I looked in his briefcase, there was a big, embroidered Superman patch, and I was like, that's mine too. So I snatched it. I'd never had one. So I was going to go put it on my shirt as fast as I could. And he went, just as fast. Nope, that's mine. It's top secret. And I'm like, no, it's not. Everybody knows who Clark Kent is. And then years later, I was looking at a book that my grandfather gave me, a book of World Navy sea power. And it had all the boats that were in the U.S. Navy and all the other nations' navies. And then I turned to the page of these things called T-Agos. My dad had a hat that said T-Agos, T/AGOS, T-Agos. Those are our spy boats. And I'm like, I recognize that. And then I looked at the picture, and then lo and behold, there's this machine on the back called Surtass, and a big Superman sticker right on the side of it. And I'm like, that's my dad. My dad put that machine right there on that boat.
Wow.
Very, very cool.
Very cool story.
Thank you for sharing that, Jay.
Yeah.
No problem. Yeah, and then so that's not, he wasn't military, but he did some stuff to help our military guys be a little bit more efficient.
Yeah.
So, and that system, like I said, no longer is top secret, but are also no longer using it. So they have something much better.
Carrie Lynn, do the Canadians show support for your military up there?
I would say yes. That they do. It's not the same as with Americans, but we do. It's dwindling. I don't think there's as much. It's not as big as what it was before either. But
yeah, I've
my memories of being within the military community, like I'm still friends with people that I was friends with, 28 years ago. Coffee.
No,
I have a tea.
Oh, wow, that's great to know. That's good to know.
But I've noticed also that kind of a waning on the celebrations as well, and we don't really celebrate the ending of World War II in this country.
No.
It's a federal holiday, national holiday, but it's not like it's not like 4th of July. It's not like Memorial Day weekend. It's not like you call all your friends over and you slap a bunch of burgers on the grill. It's like and done. So that's what Trump is doing. I don't think he's making it he's not making an additional holiday, but he's going to make it more of a celebratory weekend, maybe a parade or something. I don't know what he's going to do, but he's planning something for that.
Isn't that a parade that's supposed to land on his birthday in June at the same time, or that's something different?
Oh, I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if it was both. Would not be surprised.
Yeah. I thought I had read that it was supposed to land on his birthday, but it wasn't about his birthday, but it was going to be on his birthday, like June 13th or whatever it is.
Yeah, he's doing a military parade because we're celebrating the military's 250th birthday.
Gotcha.
And it just happens to fall on his birthday. Actually, technically, it falls a day before his birthday, but we're not going to say anything.
But still, though, how cool would it be to be like, hey, look, they threw a military parade for me on my birthday.
Oh,
the day.
$45 million is what it's going to cost.
My oldest son was born on the 4th of July, and I in Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario, right? Border town, though. So when he was really small, we would go, we always called it to the ditch, right? It's really the small bridge, and then you're in Michigan. And I would tell him every year that the fireworks were for him for his birthday. Look at how nice those Americans are. I do this just for you, bud.
That's cool as hell.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Man, that's kind of funny.
My July 4th, baby.
I remember one year we did the 4th of July in the National Mall in DC, and for some reason it was a slightly windy day, and they messed up on the setup. And I guess, I don't know, maybe they didn't know it was going to be that windy. I don't know what happened, but where we were sitting, and we weren't right up front, but we weren't way in the back either. We were getting rained on with not just ash, but still on fire ash.
Oh, wow.
So first responders had to come and push everybody back. I mean, literally. Like,
Mark, are you around? I'm sorry, Joe. Mr. Mark Yeti, are you around? Hey, Squatch. Mark. Calling Mark. Mark, are you around? I don't see
Who's
him.
Mark?
Answer me.
Who's Mark?
Mark Eddy.
Michael.
Mark Eddy. It says Mark Eddy. I'm just calling what he's got written up there.
He's up there.
Well, he sent me an email a couple weeks ago about some guests. I wanted to ask him about him before I get him on.
Oh.
And oh, look, Mark, was it just them 3 you sent me? Because I finally found the email when you talked about it. Yeah, I get a couple thousand emails, say, easily in a day or two. So it takes a little while. Sometimes it takes something up. Because I seen 3 of them on there, and I was thinking the 3 you sent might be better for the author's quill. But I was asking to see what show you thought they would be on, and then we'll get back to it. Sorry, guys, I didn't mean to interrupt y'all. Oh, and then and Bill Forte is writing a book for me, so that's kind of cool. Finally, after 35 years, I'm gonna get this story written. It's I've tried writing it, guys. I'm just not a. Well, we lost 11 days. My wife and I, a full 11 days, we're just gone. Wow. And the best part about it is it's so well documented, and we didn't document it. The hotel documented, the police documented it. We had no clue where we were going. We thought it was the next day.
Documented it.
it was crazy. It's the reason when we got regressed, because as far as matter of fact, if I wouldn't have went to pay for the extra day to stay, we would have never known it happened. But when I went into the place to pay, she said, Mr. Montaldo, where you been? I said, in the beach. But she said, no, nobody's been in your room for 11 days. We had only paid for 10, by the way. And so I was kind of like, I was like, no. She said, no. She said, your car hasn't moved. She goes and gets the video tapes out and starts showing me the car hasn't moved. She's taught the cleaning girls come in. She had three different ones come talk to me. No, Mr. Joe, there was nothing in your room. Nothing had been moved. Matter of fact, all of the stuff we had went to A&P and bought that day was still in the refrigerator. All the money we had was there. Nothing was charged to my cars. No gas was out of my car. And it had been 11 fucking days.
Wow.
It took me 2 years to get it to sink into my head. And then we took everything, sat down and wrote it. I don't know how many pages it was, sent it to Walt Anders, who's a friend of ours who used to run MUFON, the founder of MUFON. And didn't hear anything. And then 2 years later, an envelope shows up at my house with the letter in it. It had been shredded into middle pieces, but put back together. Both the envelope and the letter was meticulously taped back together. Huh. And it was yellow, which means it had been sitting around for a while. It was I didn't know what to think about it. I was just like, who in the hell would fucking do this? And why? And I mean, it was like little pieces like this, just tiny little pieces. And somehow they got them all back. They even folded it down so it went from one piece to the other piece to the other piece.
That's still
even when I talk about it today, I don't know what to think about it. But we had those witnesses. Well, fortunately, we're still friends with them. The ones that are still alive, actually. And it's kind of strange. But anyway, I mean, they just, there was them. There was a couple of witnesses as the original police report, because they reported us missing after 9 days. They thought something had happened to us.
So they reported it to the police.
Yeah, there's an official police report and everything. There's a lot of evidence on this case. And it took 4 years before I even started talking, maybe longer than that, about 6 years before I even started talking about it publicly. And even then, I was just barely would say anything about it, because it was bizarre. And now that, it's been a while and we've been hypnotized, I don't know, half a dozen times on it or so, it's there's a lot of information there. So now finally, I can't write. And I tried all this stuff, all these times going back and forth to, I feel like I'm channeling Elron sometimes when I'm out in LA, and I can actually, each time I went out there, I've been able to write about 20,000 words. But when I go back, unfortunately, my brain works much faster than my little fat fingers do. It's like fucking jibber jabber. And when I talk in it, the computer's like, "Oh, you coon ass, learn to speak English." So Bill said, just do it as an audio clip. No, nothing. No audio to text it. Do it as an audio clip. Send it to me. I'll have somebody write it and clean it up for you. I'm like, really? I'm like, yeah. So this thing may actually get published.
That would be nice.
It's scary, freaky stuff. Yeah. I've very rarely talked about it on air, and I've talked about the 11 days, but I've rarely talked about what actually happened. So, Carrie Lynn, how you doing?
I'm good. How about you?
I'm good. I'm good. I've been dealing with the crazies on the other show, but hey, because it's Memorial Day, happy Memorial Day to everybody out there. Give a soldier a hug. What can you do? I was telling everybody, give a soldier a hug and tell him not to kill somebody. Mike, you're looking good, babe. What you did, man? Got a haircut?
Who, me?
Yeah, you. You looking good?
You look good.
I'm just telling you, look better today. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah,
I'm just
saying,
look good.
It's coming
Looks
in
good.
pretty good.
Jay and I always just look the
Yeah,
same.
you looking good, Mike.
And Sean's the sexiest bastard on the network, so we just leave that alone. we just leave it alone.
Oh,
Sean's got red meat, and red meat is a
hey,
big
Michael,
demand.
I really enjoyed that video.
video?
Beef is. But you know what, Mike? I really
I've been
like
playing porn while I ain't been here. Shame on you.
Hey Joe, remember the other day we were doing a show about the abductions, and we came across or reviewed the case of I forget his first name, but Vilas Boas.
Yeah, I do remember that case. Yeah.
Strange coincidence. I just happened to be flipping through the channels. I was like, nothing's on, so I put on the Roku Ancient Aliens channel, and guess who they were talking about? Vilas Boas. Wow. And we didn't even get to this point. We kind of skimmed over it. And this is the part that I had forgotten about for a long time. The evidence they found after his, let's just call it incident, was a piece of long hair, blondish hair, with unidentifiable DNA in it. But then the other weird thing is that the strand of hair is translucent. And in the pictures of the actual hair, you can actually see like light coming through it. And it's definitely a natural hair fiber. You can tell by the pictures of it. But I thought that was awfully strange, and had forgotten completely all about it. I figured maybe why don't we talk about that?
So some strange hair dye they use in an alternate world somewhere makes your hair, translucent.
Who knows? I mean, the Arcturians, or the tall whites that Charles Hall talks about, seem to have this same kind of hair. And he described it almost like it was glowing, but he knows it wasn't glowing. But when the sun would be behind them, their hair would kind of, have a glow.
It's kind of weird. Well, it's weird because just recently I was talking to a young lady who she was wearing this wig, which is something like what you're talking about, but it lights up and it changes color. There's all kind of crazy stuff. Mm-hmm. So they're making it to where they can have them implanted into their head. These
like
different
growing
strands.
Hair in your skull that changes color.
Yes, so it's connected through, get this shit, Wi-Fi.
Wow. That's kind of like the girl in Total Recall. She's like the secretary at the Total Recall store, and she's like waiting for the guy, and she does this, and it changes the color on her fingernails. It's
definitely different. I mean, ladies, you can do your hair colors whatever you want. I don't really care. I don't judge a woman on their hair color to start off with. So
it just makes me want to move further and further into
flashy. Just will kind of make me like, what the hell?
It makes me want to move further away from people. I mean, like the wackier people
Mars
get,
are looking better.
Further away I want to go.
I mean, there are for sure some seriously weird body mods that people doing out there, but the hair thing, I don't,
They got too much free time. They need to get a job. They need to work. They need to pay bills. They need to do things. They got too much free time, man.
Yeah.
The only problem I have with people doing weird things with their hair is if I see someone with like two colors, like red and black, I'll be like, "What's with the hair? Pick a color."
The second I see somebody with purple or pink hair, I know that they're on drugs.
As a former hairstylist, though, those are great clients because that's every.
Yeah, that's where you're making your money.
Making money, yeah. I love teaching color. Love doing the color. You want to do it this way? Sure. This is where we're starting.
I was going to dye my beard red, but my wife threatened to divorce me. So.
I think it should be pink, Joe. You should go pink. Do the whole.
She should definitely divorce me then.
That's right, Mitch.
No, you never do. You always judge me.
Too, like that's the part that I don't understand. The implant would make the hair color change.
Yeah. No. What they do is every third strand or every fourth strand is this piece of hair that it's translucent and changes colors. You can control it probably via your phone more than likely, and they just put enough of them in there so that when it starts going, it's all you really see is the color change. especially if it's a lighter hair, it'll probably just make that just blend in.
So is it iridescent, not translucent, or
Yeah,
no, like I guess it is. Well, no, you know what? I guess the best way to describe it, it's got like a neon effect to it because it lights up everything around it. You know, like when you take a purple light and it lights up everything around it, or you use a neon light and it lights up the stuff on the sides of it. It's more like that. So it's strong enough to know. So if the one hair will probably light up 20 or 30 hairs around it. So you put one in and it just changes.
Gotcha.
Why you would? I still don't know why you do that, but hey, your money, it's your hair, it's your head. It would be cool in a nightclub now.
Well, I was just gonna say, it depends on what kind of job you got.
Yeah, back in the days when I used to hang out in the club,
down the road from the haunted. Well, it's called the Manor. It's called the Manor, but it's a strip club. So it was the former Sleeman Mansion, and we've seen some pretty interesting folks clomping their way down to work. That would be a job, I suppose. Where you
that you know. Well, the French Quarter's got several clubs, so you never know what you're going to see down there. But you know what? We have the festivals where you get naked and they just paint you, and you can walk around all day naked.
I've seen that.
As long as you're painted, it's long, but everything's got to be painted. And if it wears off, you got to get it done because it's a big fine if they catch you just naked. But you can get naked and just wear body paint. I'm thinking, body art. This is crazy, man.
Some of it's pretty cool. Usually, that body art is stunning.
But you don't really see straight people down there doing it. It's Decadence Fest, and Decadence Fest is the
There's a competition show where they do like airbrush body art like that, and they can do some amazing things.
I imagine
if you're painted and naked, you're still naked.
Didn't Kat? I don't know if Kat Ward is watching, but Kat Ward just had somebody from Face Off on her show, or she just pre-recorded somebody from Face Off.
Yeah, I think they said she pre-recorded. It's
Face Off was a very cool show.
Yeah.
But you see, every time y'all say Face Off, it flashes me right back to Doctor Who. So I got to get that out of my head.
Or the movie with what's his face, where they take John Travolta's face off and put it on Nicolas Cage's face.
Yeah. well, in Doctor Who, that's what they do. Except they just take it off and put like a dog's head on or some shit like that. It's a little weird. What is that, Jessica? You mean aliens? Aliens are like ghosties. It's whatever the individual wants to believe. No, I base all my stuff on research and fact. It really is.
Mark.
Yes, actually, that's true, Mark. You do. Jeffrey got a rule about being naked. Technically, oh no, today's Saturday, so everybody's okay today. But Friday, technically, everybody on Friday is supposed to be naked. So the state, yes, until recently, it was Naked Admin Friday. So if you were a host on a Friday or you were an admin, either one, you had to be naked for your show. Of course, we didn't use video back then, so it didn't matter. But today we use video. I don't want to get anybody arrested.
I normally say pants should be optional anyway. Pants should be optional. Pants are
I'm usually wearing shorts half the time.
The reason why we don't enforce the naked rule on Friday is because we actually did try that one Friday, and we lost so many numbers that we can't do it again.
Well, that was sort of true because the ones that stayed were like in shock, so they just stayed there for like 3 weeks looking at the screen. But it was kind of scary. But no, I mean, on Pal Talk and on the shows, it really was true. It was Naked Admin Friday. Whoever was working that day was naked, so it was supposed to be relaxed and you didn't do what you want. Because we had support groups as well too. And I don't even know how it started. One of the directors started it. I forgot which director started it too. One of the directors started it. I said, I don't care. Nobody can see me. What do I care? It's
what do you ladies and guys think about people who tattoo their face and cry they don't get a job?
Oh, I think they're fucking stupid. Oh, did I say that out loud? I'm sorry.
My oldest kid, he's like run out of real estate, right? He'll be.
I don't know what that is.
He has tattoos from top to bottom, and he got these tattoos along the side of his face, and those were the only ones that I cried about. I cried when he got those. I'm like, dude, what did you do? But he's like got a job as a barber. He's going to be like head of their education department and teaching bar. He's doing really well. It hasn't prevented him, but I certainly was shocked. There's more acceptance with the tattoos, but there's still that stigma of neck and face as well.
It is, but it's a lot that which I think it's more of what you actually put on your face than anything else.
Yeah.
It's because I've seen a couple women get them face tattoos. They weren't horrible. I've seen a couple guys get them, but my problem with tattoos is somebody when I was in the Navy, I was going to get one, and a friend of mine said, Joe. He said, you change your mind a lot about a lot of things, man. You sure you want to get a tattoo? He said, do you need to think about 30 years? And I said, fuck 30 years from now. He goes, no. So I got to thinking about it. So he's probably right. You know what? He was definitely right. I'd been pissed today if I was wearing a tattoo. I'd be hot.
Well, but there's also the trend of people using tattoo for permanent makeup, permanent lipstick, permanent eyeliner,
I've seen that,
rouge and shadow and what have you around their face, so that they can highlight that next to with other makeup. But I don't see a problem with that. But yeah, the face things, even the Yakuza, if you go back to the tattooing of those criminal Japanese people, they have what they call a full body suit, but it only comes up to like the collarbone and like to like right there on the wrist. And then the same thing down on the ankles. It does they do the tattoo full body, everywhere in between, but at the certain points it stops so that they can be hidden under clothing, so that their rank in the.
Well, I worked for several companies. If you had a tattoo that showed, they wouldn't hire you. They said no. And then you know what? It wasn't against the law either. That's what surprised me.
I grew up around a lot of mafia guys, and those guys all said the same thing. Tattoos make you easily identifiable, so you don't get them. Don't get them, man.
That's true. If you plan on getting in trouble with the law, don't get them. What were you saying, Karen?
I have my sleeve. So I have this or half sleeve, and then the one at the bottom of my wrist. But this one, when I got this one here, it was the first time that I started getting judged by people. Like you could see them judging and staring at it. It was super weird. Hey,
Lorelei. Yeah, people are weird about that stuff. I know. My daughter got a rose on her right ankle, and she said shit about it.
I'm sorry, I got wrapped up in this new series on Netflix. First, I started watching Surviving Death. It was a very interesting series, 6-part series. Anything from the paranormal to signs of your loved ones, interesting. And then it automatically started playing sirens. Oh my gosh, it's addicting, you guys. Don't see it of a mermaid, but I'll tell you.
You know it's illegal to watch Netflix on this network, right?
I did not know that.
Yes, we banned Netflix. Yes, we banned Netflix.
I'm always talking tattoos, Lorelei. You just got a new tattoo, didn't you?
I got Justin with my son's ashes. I never would have thought I would have had Mario on my arm, but my son loved Mario, so that's it. Right? I don't know if I'm bringing it up close.
I can see. I couldn't see it before.
So
I went to art school, and several of my friends had tattoos, and
I have lots.
One of my friends that's in Savannah is an actual tattoo artist, and she's fantastic. And I don't have a problem with it. I probably would never get one.
I drew this one. I drew it. It's got Sanskrit. Nice. It's got all kinds of symbols in it. It needs to be redone. I've drawn. This one has my son's name. I have them all over. I've drawn lots of my tattoos and then get them tattooed.
Well, Michael would show you his tattoo, but we all go to jail.
We're not triple X rated today.
I'm always in trouble. I'm not bringing up the ST. I'm in the swear jar.
Oh no, it's a whole different show now. You can bring it whatever you want on this show.
Yeah, you can bring Star Trek up. It's all good.
On this show, it's what do you mean, Chris?
Michael, you have no tattoos?
No.
When my middle stepdaughter got her rose on her ankle, they gave her nothing but shit about it. And New Orleans is a city with a lot of people with tattoos. It's I don't have any because I can't. I'm too schizoid to get any. But
they're not like that.
No, it's not that. My personality changes too much.
You know what?
I was telling him earlier. The ones I looked at,
I never found one I thought I could live with for any length of time.
That's why I draw them, because then they mean something.
Even when I thought about that, there's just nothing I want to put out there.
Yeah, that was my problem. I mean, I could not find anything. I mean, because originally, and this is, y'all don't make fun of me now, but when I was 18 in the Navy, I was going to get an eagle put on my chest with one hand holding a beer can, the other hand holding 3 joints.
Oh, dear God.
Okay. Now, and I was serious. I was on my way to get it when my partner caught me. He said, Joe, and she looked, y'all laughing at me. Anyway, Anyway, long story short,
You're
my
never
friend
gonna
my friend talked me out of it. He goes, and you know what? I would have hated it today. And then I
No,
thought
because
about
you're
getting.
never going to change your kids or somebody that you know is going to be in your life or a memory
Let me
always.
tell you what, I ain't putting no kids on me because they're a pain in the ass. But I don't think it's out of that
What
much.
about your chihuahuas?
Kids
No,
are enough pain.
no
You gotta
chewy.
sit there and get.
Some things I like to forget about every once in a while. It's
Mine are in places if I don't want to show them, I don't have to, except for this one. But everything else is either I can wear sleeves.
If I got one, it would say
Now-
front towards enemy.
now a friend of mine, Mike, got one. It's this big. That's it.
It's
that
just
big.
gonna bleed. It's just gonna
Many
bleed.
people like
The
Dave.
other thing is
Look-
right
look
here where you
good
can't
tattoo,
see it. No
you
matter.
get-
Oh, I
you
do
get
have
someone's
one
name
tattoo. I
tattooed.
forgot. I did have one tattoo.
You get someone's name tattooed, you gotta have shit.
You've got one?
Like
Yeah.
someone you're dating.
And I didn't get the guy permission who gave it to me either.
Oh. See,
It's
my
not like-
eldest son has one. He had me write him a note from me to him, and he had my hat man writing tattooed, and it says "Love, Mom," because he said one day you're probably not going to be here before me. This is my eldest son. He said, and I'll always have you looking over my shoulder. So I told him, if you're going to get tattooed, and he's got lots, make sure it's something you can live with till you're 90 years old and you're saggy and wrinkled.
And you're right, Michael. Like
Good
getting
idea.
somebody's name, Michael. You're right. Getting their
That's wrong. I told him
and you
no.
don't and you don't know. But even my oldest son, who's got all the tattoos from top to bottom, he got one that was just like. So I've always made like pancakes from scratch, right? Pancakes from scratch. We would go visit my grandma, so their great grandma, and she would make box pancakes that just add water. And my kids love her pancakes better than mine.
Aw.
Always, little rats. And so my kid, when he gets older, he gets just add water. But I'm like, that makes you like a gremlin, right? Because he hadn't even watched it. But he has this just add water tattoo across his collarbone.
That's
But in
cool.
his head, it was for my like a dedication after grandma passed away, right? Like,
And
Like,
I
it was
like
for her.
Mitch's idea. Get an invisible dot. If I were to get a tattoo, I'd be very creative. I'd go and get a freckle. Just tattoo a freckle somewhere on me.
Why not? You've got
Oh,
things
no,
you
no.
love. You love
no.
You've got things you love, Jay. You love the things we've even talked about. You like, you know what? You get things that mean something to you that you don't have to explain. Like you shared about your son, Carrie Lynn. He knows what that
The USS
I still
Enterprise
rise
on the
them.
back
We
of
all
his
do.
back.
I could do, or get the
I
saucer.
got one. I got
Enterprise
one, but nobody
saucer
can see it. But
tattooed
the
right
dog-
here. Can just keep it under my hat.
I've seen guys with no hair get tattoos on the top of their head.
Oh yeah, well,
Yeah.
I got an Uber to work the other day, and the guy that drove me, he had tattoos along his neck and up the back of his head. It was pretty neat. But we had asked the question earlier: if someone tattoos their face and they can't get a job, what's the problem? As far as tattoos go, I don't. If the artwork is good, that's your body. You do what you want. But if you decide to put them on your face and you have trouble finding a job, I mean, I'm sorry, but maybe you ought to go get those
Well, it's
removed.
not just no. Look, I've a lot of companies I've done business with, even full sleeve arm tattoos. Nope, you got to wear a long sleeve shirt. And
You gotta cover 'em up.
They're
There's a
very. A
guy
lot of companies are really strict, and you know what? I didn't realize that, but companies can do that because they can detect to say what they want their employees to look like.
I mean, especially if you're going to be like at the front of the company, like
You're
a cashier
representing the
or a
company.
waitress or a waiter.
Shit.
Yeah.
No
I was
offense
a
to anybody,
supervisor
but
at a convenience store company, and they were making. I was like, guys, why? How can y'all do that? Y'all can fucking get employees as it is. Oh, well, we got rules. I'm like, okay.
There's a guy I'm trying to find.
facial tattoos have a high connection to sociopaths, man.
They do. They get a high connection to crime too, but
So there's a thing there. They may not be, you know what I mean? But
you know what's funny about face tattoos? It kind of does a split kind of thing. There's a spiritual side to them. So a lot of people who get them are really it's because something they're feeling deep.
like
inside.
Charles Manson's swastika
Well,
on his forehead. That type.
That's because he was a dumbass. What he got.
An idiot,
He was
yeah.
a Buddhist.
But I mean, it goes both ways. I
More
mean,
like
some,
the tribal thing that Mike.
yeah, there's
Tyson
lots of tribes
I
that do their face up or half their face or a whole face. So there's a spiritual side to it, and then there's a non-spiritual. It just depends where you fall out.
MS-13, they got that going on. All
I don't judge people
Well,
over
this
tattoos.
guy, I was going to show you guys quickly. Like, that's too much. He's a business owner. And the only place he's been able to work is to have his own business. He's even got his eyeballs tattooed. Like, why?
Oh man!
Now, if now in June,
I'll play him.
well, it is June, isn't it? So there's a thing called the float in Arkansas coming up, and it's the clown posse's going to be there. I imagine there'll be lots of
not going to be there. I won't be there.
But you scared of clowns?
Am I still doing the music next
Dexter,
week?
how can you be scared of clowns? You fucking Dexter, how can you be scared of clowns, man? Dexter cannot be scared of clowns, man. Come on.
Hey, every good superhero has a kryptonite, buddy.
That's my kryptonite. That and baby dolls. Baby dolls.
Yeah,
oh, now listen to this. Wait, okay. I'm glad you brought that. It was a good segue. So, stupid doll comes down to New Orleans. Fucking first thing that happens, the oldest plantation in the area burns to the ground. I just burns completely.
I had somebody send me that like the day.
And then the next day, Marie Laveau's house burned.
Yeah. And then all those prisoners escaped. It was all around.
Yeah,
they
said 10 murderers escaped, and there's still 4.
They were existed. They weren't. That was some messed up stuff. How many they got now? 5, 6?
There's 4 left out there.
4 left. Okay.
And
they're probably down to
nobody
Mexico.
knows where they are. And if they made it to Jackson, they'll never find them.
They made it to Mexico. We'll never get it. We don't care. Mexico can have them.
They'll probably end up in a place like Jackson.
That doll, that Annabelle doll that's supposed to cause all that havoc down in New Orleans, she's just a doll. That's it. She's just a doll.
It's a bad doll, evil bitch.
It's not. I don't believe that.
It's evil.
No. I don't either.
No.
There's nothing evil about that doll.
I'll tell you something about this, though, that what I know for a fact is that bad spirits can attach themselves to anything.
Well, we all know that.
They can attach themselves to a refrigerator. They can attach themselves to anything they've ever owned, anything they project themselves into, and they could also be in many places at once, depending on their level of where they're at. Really, I mean their level of achievement, if you want to call it that. But I've seen it, been there, done it, seen it, and been through it. So we've done a lot of investigations surrounding stuff like that, and the more we got involved in that, the more questions I had. And when you do an investigation, for me anyway, I take those questions into that next investigation, and I go start stabbing deeper and going further. You know what I mean? Not just beyond making contact. I mean, this is like a whole different thing of why. The question why. So, but it's pretty amazing, and all these investigations are different, but they all have similar things attached to them. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, I had a friend.
If it really was that bad, why would they take it across and sell tickets to that many people?
I never realized it until I owned an antique store, and then and I had a lot of items coming and going. And I'll tell you, some of the items we took in changed the whole feeling of the store, the whole thing. And I'm like, what the hell, man? And that energy was just big until that damn thing left, So then I bought this thing off my friend Jeff, who used to own the antique store, and it was it was an old Santa Claus made of straw, really old. I mean,
Jerry Boston.
Yeah, he had painted it gold, and then I'm like, oh, cool, can I buy that from you? He's like, yeah, he did just like this, yeah, $20, it's yours. And he had a real stupid, weird smile. And then I bought it, took it home. All this bad shit started happening. My girlfriend noticed it. I noticed it. I took it back to him. And then I'm like, here, take it back. And he's like, why? I think it's causing me all the bad luck. He's like, you know what? I've sold that thing 100 times. And the same thing happens every time. Is that terrible things that happen to me.
There's a woman that had 3 haunted dolls, and she didn't believe in this either, and she bought them off eBay, and it was a bit of a video. I forget what channel it was on, and so she decided she was going to sell them in her garage sale the next day. But they had a big sign they had printed. They were going to put like, "This is not meant for kids. Take me serious," because she didn't believe in this kind of stuff. And somebody broke in and stole the dolls. So she made a warning video that whoever stole the dolls, good luck with that.
Yeah, we don't want them back.
Instant.
I had a friend who bought a refrigerator at a garage sale. She brought it home. Weird stuff started happening. The door in the fridge just started opening and closing and all kinds of crazy stuff. She contacted me because she knew I was into the ghost thing. I contacted a group that I knew in St. Louis and sent them over there. And then, they did their thing and whatever. And she said it was all cool, but what they found out was amazing. And the guy died. The guy she bought the bridge from died. They actually went back to where she bought it and asked questions about him. Got his name. I said, get the guy's name. Get, have things you can associate with him, to try to get contact. This way they know that you're there for them. You know what I mean? You start calling out to them. And they did. And they kind of reasoned with the guy, I mean, like, just, hey, you're dead. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes they don't know they're dead. We've got that.
Right.
I'm not dead. We've got EVPs. I'm not dead. And then you're like, oh, there's something.
Sorry to inform you, but here's what the newspaper said.
I've gotten cursed out and say, I'm not dead. F you, I'm not dead. Okay.
I've had a couple EVPs like that. Yeah.
What if
With
we're the dead
dolls
ones?
or
What if
haunted
we're the dead
objects?
ones and they're the ghost hunters? You ever think about that?
Yeah.
And what is dead ultimately? I mean, not not without flesh.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's a good question. What is dead? Because to
What
me,
is
you
dead?
die, your spirit moves
Your
on, so you're
body's
still
gone.
alive.
That's it.
You're
Just your
still
body.
alive. Yeah. It's like
Actually,
your
we
shell.
told
It's
you-
our shell.
we're
The
here to
same
eat
time-
chickens and drink water. Like, what happens after that? What happens
Just-
when you don't have a body? Lao Tzu said no. Having a body is a misfortune. You know what I mean? Like, and it's just very limited in what we can do. But what is dead? I don't know. You do enough of these investigations, and the ones who are still here walking around that won't move on. A lot of them have we call them earthbound in our circle, but a lot of them they I don't know. They're tormented. You can feel it. You can feel that turbulence. It's not just some visitation. It's not just some an intermittent happening of someone visiting a relative or something. Around a
Right.
birthday or holiday. We got tons of that. I'm talking about the ones who were there, tormented. Anybody who moves into that house is tormented. It could be a house, a business. It could be a chunk of land. You don't know. It could be something that happened 200 years ago.
I think we go on forever. Like I said, the reason why I enjoyed this series was it went through every aspect that we usually want to know answers about death. And I have been fascinated for years with children that remember their past lives. And they actually did a whole episode on a couple of kids that told their parents what the name was. And the parents
I've been following one.
Well,
I was going to say they were able to find
kid,
the name and verify it and visit with some family members and find out. And it was all in the U.S.
As soon as this kid can start talking, as soon as he can start talking, he told his parents what his name was. He flew a bomber in World War II.
That's James. He's covered in this episode. He's now an
what
adult.
the name of the bomber is, who his family was.
He used to call him James 3, because the guy that he reincarnated with was James Jr. And so his parents finally figured out why he was calling himself James 3. And there was a little African-American kiddo that lost his life by some evil person when he was about 18 months old. And the other kid they covered in here, one of them, he knew the whole name. He knew his mother's name. The doctor tested him and gave him a couple pictures of the park because he kept saying, I'm missing going to the park with my mom. And the mom thought he meant her. And he said, no, my other mom with the pretty hair. And every picture they showed him, they gave him a bunch and they filmed it.
What about the kid who says he's Lou Gehrig? And he's an amazing baseball player. And he said that his mom was actually Lou Gehrig's mom in Lou Gehrig's life. After the mom died and Lou Gehrig died, the kid was reincarnated. Man. And he said his mom is that incarnation, But
there was a lot of
he's an amazing baseball player. Yeah, he's an amazing baseball player. He's got amazing talents, But he remembered his life.
Was there a kid that solved his own murder?
Yeah, that was in India. He had a birthmark where he had been murdered. The murder had never been solved. It was an adult. And this kid, when he was born, apparently the story went that he kept talking about his other family and went on and on about this other town miles away he'd never been in. And the kid solved his own murder. the parents finally relented because he wouldn't give up. So they took him to this town. He greeted all the family members by name. He told them how to get to the house, and he told the cops who murdered him and exactly where the birthmark was. I think on the back of his head. I think the
that
guy
kid from Ireland, that one from Ireland, yeah.
He was from India. This kid, it was like a pickaxe or something that he had been murdered with, and the guy finally. That the police went to him and he confessed because the kid knew everything and knew who he was.
It's incredible, though, isn't it?
What about the three kids who manifested the most recently dead Dalai Lama? There's a good movie about it with Bridget Fonda called The Little Buddha. Fantastically good artistic movie. Keanu Reeves is in it.
I thought you were talking about the Golden Child. Sorry.
No, that's Eddie Murphy.
Oh, no more drugs for y'all, man. Y'all cut off.
Anyway, no, the movie's different than the real life. But in real life, they found these three kids: a boy in India, a girl in China, and then an American kid in like Oregon or Washington, like out west. And I think the Indian boy was the least like the guy they were looking for. The Chinese Asian girl was like second best, but somehow the American boy was like had the most information of. They were able to prove that he knew what the Dalai Lama that they were looking for knew. Very cool thing, and that just how does they verify that? I mean, what are they looking for?
He's got to sing "Hello, Dolly."
Yeah,
That's
it's
as soon as they start belting out
if
"Hello, Dolly,"
if there's a prophecy.
You know what? They have to. There's a test, and they have to choose an item.
There's got to be a whole bunch of questions. Yeah,
they lay a whole bunch of items on a blanket, and only one of the items is associated with that person. And then, if that person is drawn to that item, they choose that. Then that's the first, win.
I think there's a prophecy too, in a lot of
the Dalai Lama.
I'll have to watch that movie again because
and the Dalai Lama
like
could
that.
be anybody.
I think they do.
It could be male, female, white, black, whatever. It doesn't matter. There's no race attached to it, which is pretty interesting,
Well, like I said, the kid that I mentioned, he was Caucasian and he was African American. There's another guy that was an extra and had his own dance studio in Hollywood. He had constantly talked about it too, and was able to talk to the family members. But when they were, because most of these kids seem to forget around the age of 6 or 7, and then they can recall some things, some of them. There's another one. She's a rock journalist, and her son was. They were able to prove it was one of the architects of the Titanic. He used to draw the Titanic, and if he saw pictures, he'd say, "No, mommy, that's wrong. There's an extra smoke stack on top." And
yeah, there is a bit of a hum Mish is detecting on.
What's that noise? I don't know, Mish.
Yeah,
I can hear it too.
Not from my mic.
It's like
if it's a hum, it's probably coming from one of the AC units in the studio.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. Yeah, in the summertime, unfortunately, the units have to run. It's
did Lola get
not that hot for me, but it gets a little hot for the computers.
Did Lola get tired of Daddy?
No, she's mad because I put her down. Yeah, no, she didn't. She just stayed there all night and let her. She'd go right. If I let her, she'll put her head right there and go right to sleep. And nobody.
So do I get to pick the music still next week? You told me you said each one of us gets.
Yeah. Well, we got. Well, you can pick it tonight.
Oh, now I got to pull everything up. I did. I had a few.
Well, you got a few minutes. We're going to be running late tonight. See, that's why I'm going to have to talk with Michael and Michelle about moving him back to an hour because we keep running into a show a half an hour, 40 minutes. It's not fair to him.
No.
But it's not that either. And it's not just that. I want to make sure his audiences are, I want to make sure he's got the audience that we're leaving him. This audience is what I'm trying to say. I could get out of my mouth or something. I mean, it's not that he's doing bad.
I don't care. This show ends, mine begins. That's how it kind of goes.
Yeah, okay. I mean, we can do it like that, but I like it to be kind of solid. Sooner or later, the Queen will start bitching at me anyway about it.
I'm trying to pick songs that aren't really super well known, but I have one for you.
You know what? Since we're oddball, we can take a break at the bottom of the hour if you want.
I'm going to put it in the chat.
You got to operate it. You do. No. That's not how it works. You do the
I have to play it. Yes.
You have to do everything, but now you see.
I just did it. I know how to do it.
No, that's not what I'm talking about. So we got
somebody recorded an EVP in the studio.
So now you got to know. We always get EVPs. This network got more EVPs than anything on the planet. I guarantee you, UFO Paranormal Radio is got 10,000 EVPs at least. We'll do shows Stephanie and I were doing a show when they was doing paranormal with her ex,
Thank you.
and we got 11 in an hour. Got 24 in the entire show. We've got shows where somebody's talking to us underneath the thing. It's really, really creepy, weird. It's just like
Carrie Lynn manifested them though on the show, and you did, Carrie Lynn.
Are you a demon, Carrie Lynn? Y'all better be nice.
Pardon?
You might be a demon, people. Watch out. Be nice. Say, get the cross.
No, not a demon.
Manifest.
She manifests. She said, I wonder if the spirits will cooperate tonight. Let's see what happens, because we've gotten EVPs before. I picked up a really crazy EVP when she was interviewing Rick McCallum. And she just happened to say, have you ever had an attachment? And I was producing, and I wasn't right in front of the computer, and I had my headphones on, and it sounded like someone, you know, when you're a little kid and you're sucking up the ends of your chocolate milk with a straw? And I'm going, what the heck's that? And I look, nobody's drinking. Oh, I got to mark that one. And then there was wasn't there a growl after it?
It was a growl.
Yeah. It was
when I asked him if he had an attachment, there was a growl.
There's kind of an EVP in the song "The Great Gig in the Sky" by Pink Floyd, and it's one of my favorite albums, and I was listening to that. It's one of my favorite songs too. But I was listening to it on headphones one time, and I kept hearing towards 4 minutes into the song, I kept hearing this in the song. I'm like, is it damaged? What? And so one time I cranked it, and I was like, and it only came in, I think, the left speaker. So I was like, I just jammed into it. And if you listen really close with the volume way high, you can hear the singer. I forget her name. She's a beautiful voice. She says under the music, "I never said I was frightened of dying."
Oh,
it's very creepy. But if you listen to the song at a regular volume, like conversation level volume, you'll hear and it's so quick. It's like you think it's part of the music because it doesn't sound like voice.
Interesting.
Weirdos.
We're not
Girls,
weirdos.
I'd like to ask you and Michael especially this question.
You know, Michelle's supposed to ask y'all that first time she talks to you. It's a prerequisite. See, I hired you, so she didn't have to ask you. But
you hired me. Michelle,
that's what I just said. I hired you.
What were we supposed to be asked? I didn't get asked anything.
Oh, see, she's supposed to tell you it's a prerequisite to be kind of a little strange in your head to be on the network.
Oh, well,
we don't like normal people.
Yeah,
there's nothing normal. And Michael too. I'd like to get Michael's input on this. What is growl? What's the growl? I can never figure out the growl during the investigation on an EVP. What's the growl? Is it an animal or is it a human being growling?
I think they're sometimes they're referred to as demons.
I've gotten a dog sometimes, and then there was one time we got a couple of growls. It was a very interesting situation.
I had growls.
Mm-hmm. But I'm talking about real EVPs, not like the ITC device, what people refer to as EVPs, and they're not because it's ITC. It's scanning radio stations. It's going to spit out words verbatim, and then people kind of just fit what they want to fit around it. But, what I found, I have a great Olympus recorder, and I chose it because it has a very low frequency threshold. And then that's what you want. You want that low frequency. And then I've gotten amazing EVPs. I can play some for you. But, amazing. Like clear. You can't believe it was even there with you, and it's a conversation that you're having. It's a response to something that I said.
Crazy, eh? When I did my theater, I did a theater event 2 years. Well, I do it every year, but 2 years ago. The theater is an old church. So there was 122 people there, which was sold out. Like it was all this little tiny church that turned into a theater. So I'm talking and doing my thing and everybody could hear it. It sounded like there was a man standing beside me and talked loud enough that my mic that was hooked up picked up the guy standing in spirit beside me. The whole room heard it. It was crazy. It was so good. I was like, do it again. Make the lights go off. keep it going, right?
That begs a good question because now the EVP you guys picked up on Beneath the Hollow Moon, you heard it. It wasn't an EVP.
I didn't hear it.
You heard it in your ear first, and then
But it was, we just heard one, right? We just heard one. And then when we listen back, when you clipped it, there was 3, right? Or did you hear all of them?
I heard 2, but one was loud enough that I heard it. And people that were in the chat heard it as well too.
So now the ones I've seen recorded, when they're asking certain questions, how did you die? Who are you? Why are you here? Yada, yada, whatever the questions are. And then they go back and they get the answer.
I know ghosts went yada yada.
Don't hear anything at all, and none of them even. I don't think even on the Ghostbuster show, those East Coast guys, I don't think they ever, like you guys, were like, "Oh, did you hear that?" None of them have ever been able to hear something like that. So, what does it mean when you can hear it, in your actual ear?
Does you have more energy? Go ahead, Carrie. But go ahead. Sorry.
I don't know, but I mean, this is my job every day, right? I do this stuff every day, all day. So I don't know if it's more fine tuned for me where I pick it up or attract it. It's like having that, light above your head that they get pulled to. I don't know. I don't seem to understand all of it.
Yeah, okay. Just a good place to stop. Just hold it right there. We passed our break, so we got to start our break. I know. I get you. God, you rookies.
Total rookie.
No, you're not a rookie. I was just teasing you. Actually, we're going to stop on. You'll hear Paranormal Insight will be the last one I play. Once you hear it, play the music.
Okay.
You ready, man? You sure you're ready, man? Because we're going to start with this right here.
I'm just going to have to pull it down. Here, hang on.
Purported to have dark rituals.
Don't y'all have this on here so we can play this when we come back?
Okay.
Yeah, this is the EVP. That was the EVP.
But anyway, but when we get to Paranormal Insight, that'll be where we.
I got some EVPs for you that are gonna blow your mind. But go ahead.
Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna go back for about 10 minutes, 8 minutes, 10. I don't know, however long the song is. Laura Lee's got it. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 breaks coming up. So, and they're about 3 minutes long. So we should see y'all in, I don't know, 8 minutes, something like that. So stay tuned.
The Power Agency is built for those who move like predators, decide like weapons, and execute like their life depends on it. You're either fully in, or you're invisible.
Welcome to Paranormal Heart Podcast with host Kat Ward.
If you have a paranormal experience that you would like to discuss on the show, please email us at paranormal.insight.podcast@gmail.com. That's paranormal.insight.podcast@gmail.com.
I think we lost Laura Lee.
I'm here.
Uh-oh.
Never mind. I was waiting for it to finish. Hang on. I'm going to play it right now. Give me 1
I
second.
know who's closest to her. Reach over and smack her. Mary Lynn, reach down and smack her. You're close.
What?
That's the
Oh,
end.
what was that? Hello, man. Hello, yeah, people.
I like that
Welcome,
song. I like that song.
welcome back to the chat.
The reason why I picked it is because I didn't want us to get dinged. They're not well known. Those are the three sisters from Mexico I've been talking about.
Oh.
The Warning, they're called.
Yeah, that's the one I said. Why do they call themselves Tres Hermanas?
That doesn't sound like the
they don't
sexy
want people to
redhead
know
to
they're
me.
from Mexico. I don't know. They don't speak with an accent either.
That still didn't sound like the sex in Mexico to me, man.
They're from
I mean, the
Mexico.
sexy redhead is what I meant to
I
say.
was trying not to pick something that would get us.
I don't know if you get us. I don't know if the redhead or the blonde will get us dinged. I don't know if they're famous enough. I don't know. They may be, but I don't.
Overly produced material.
It's
you'll never like anything I do, so it's okay.
That's right. Just tell them.
Pick something good.
Fuck you, Michael. That's what you're telling. Yeah, I'll loan you Martha. Look, y'all can have a shootout.
Like,
hey, Sherry, good to see you, hon.
Hello, Sherry. How you doing, baby? Let's see. Put this over here so I can see stuff again. All right, now we're back. What did I interrupt y'all on? What we were talking about before I really interrupted everybody?
EVPs.
Yeah,
What the
I'll
fuck
play
is
you one, man.
EVP?
I have to set
It
it up.
sounds like some kind of venereal disease. What the hell is an EVP?
I'll play electronic voice phenomenon.
Okay, because y'all gotta rethink about things like that when you're talking to
disembodied
this
voice.
audience.
Before you continue, Joe,
These people listen to us tonight. They don't know what the hell it is.
So I'm going to tell you what this is. Erie Mansion, Clyde, New York. Peter and I are in the basement, 3:30 in the morning. This is where a serial killer had lived and killed a lot of his victims. He would kill them, finish them off in the basement, shove them out the window, put them in his car, take them a block away to the freaking canal, the Erie Canal, and dump their bodies. So anyway, we're down there, and then Telltale, the guy, when he was coming through Pennsylvania one time, he abducted a very young girl, brought her to the mansion, and apparently killed her. And by the way, the cops knew about this, but his father, adopted father, actually was owner of the Clyde Glass Works, which was Tiffany Glass. These people had all the money at the time. So let me get the clip for you. So Peter and I are in the basement, and then I swore I heard a little girl whimper. It was like I heard a just like that. So then I'm like, it's like, does any girl want to come forward and say something? This motherfucker was like, leave that girl alone. You're gonna hear it right on right on the EVP. And he was pretty serious. This dude on the voice box had cursed me out and all this other shit. I mean, stuff that wasn't supposed to happen happened. Okay, can you see it? No, you can't see it. There we go. All right, so, and you're gonna be able to see on here anyway. Let me play. You hear that?
I heard that. I heard that. Yeah. I heard that.
Yeah. I mean, that to me was like, wow.
What was it saying?
Leave that girl alone.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Because I was trying to talk to the little girl that, other people had seen her apparition up on the second floor. Big man, 12,000 square foot mansion, I mean, and so much crazy stuff had happened there. The butler killed the cook one time, cut his head off. The family come back, found the headless body up on the third floor, and all this other stuff like that. Now it's a B&B. My friend Mark owns it, and he was sucked in. It was an old tenement, stoned out, burned out. And they sucked him in. He went in there, spent hundreds of thousands of dollars restoring the building, putting all the plus he bought all these crazy antiques from around the world, this real hand carved stuff, whatever, and checked out each room like that. The place has a lot of energy. We'll say just an enormous amount of.
Where is that again, Michael?
What's that?
Where? Sorry.
Erie Mansion in Clyde, New York.
Erie Mansion. Okay.
Yeah. Check this out. So, all right. So in this one, this was a block away. We were kind of following the trail of the Erie Canal, and then just that's where ley lines go. That's where waterways go. There's a lot of history there. A lot of people died digging the canal, so there's a whole bunch of history. So we're in this Taylor house. And we had contacted this kid, said even told us his name and all that stuff. So we went back to his room, the room that he's in all the time. And then so Peter and I start talking to the kid, his little boy here. And man, plain as day, this voice is like the little boy is here. It's like Peter and I looking at each other like, well, you're in the zone. You know what I mean? Let me play a few. You're in the zone though, like. You're really, where the hell is it? This shit. Hold on. It's not coming up now all of a sudden. Oh, here it is. All right. Can you see it?
No.
This thing's not. I used to share automatically. Oh, here we go. All right. So
you can go to on the settings, Michael. Go to General and then hit the button that says Show Automatically, and it'll do it for you.
All right. So here you go.
Oh wow! Oh wow! Little boy spirit.
Yeah, this was on this investigation. At one point, I had I had 3 psychics with me, and 2 of them were really great mediums. We all went outside. They wanted to have like a cigarette break and whatever, and we had already had an encounter. One of them had a really bad experience, and she had to go outside to ground herself because something had gotten a hold of her, and she almost ended up falling down the stairs. Someone that had happened to someone there. They died. The young girl died there, in that house, like a teenager, and we believe she was pushed over the stairs. Anyway, we go outside. We're outside, man, good 20, 25 minutes. Now, I put, I like using lights with PIR sensors. So if something goes in front of it, it lights up, and it's really sensitive too. I had a whole bunch set up, and I had a whole bunch of cameras running at the time. We used like literally 20 cameras, hunting cameras, regular video cameras, everything. And we go back inside. Man, all the lights are lit up. And I was like, what the hell's going on? There was nobody in there. You know what I mean? And then later on, when I was listening to the one camera I had running, there was an EVP of a woman saying, "Is those cameras?" Just like that. Is those cameras? Like really interesting stuff. But
love that. I love when they talk to each other. They can hear us. Like I love when those ones show up. Those sort of EVPs.
Hey, can I share this with you guys? I just look at this airy mansion, okay, and there was somebody left a note. It said 6 months ago, this place is fantastic. We stayed there just recently, a week before Halloween. This is a type of place that isn't your normal bed and breakfast. It's not for everyone. But if you want a real out of the ordinary experience, these rates as one. The staff is very attentive. The owner is hospitable and approachable. He's very proud of what he has put together. And you can tell if you go on the tour of the house, the rooms are clean and comfortable, if not a little bit weird. But that's the whole point. This isn't your typical B&B, meaning don't go here if you just want a place to sleep for the night. It's a legitimate experience. It is 100% unforgettable and unique.
I'll go stay there. There won't be no more ghosties after that.
I'll play one last thing for you. This is actually a video and kind of audio. But so you take a flashlight and we use one that's very sensitive. So if something could manipulate the back, they can turn the flashlight on or off. If nothing touches it, it doesn't do anything. So let me play you this, man, because this is really cool, I think. When things happen on demand, that's really what I'm looking for. I'm looking for that intelligent contact. I'm not looking for a scratch on the wall. I'm not looking for anything like that. I want the real deal. That's Pete.
Can you make that flashlight go on? You touch the back. He's saying yes.
He uses dowsing rods.
You touch the back of it.
I think they're awesome.
Touch it as hard as you can. It will go on. It will turn right on. Can you do that for us? Try as hard as you can. Shit. There it goes. As soon as you asked for it. Yeah. That was like on demand. Caleb, can you turn it off now?
Oh, wow.
Love it.
Yeah, that's great.
Michael, I would have peed my pants, dude.
I love it. I love it.
I would have peed in my pants. I honestly.
Awesome, Michael.
No.
Very nice, Michael.
As hard as you can.
Yeah. Do more.
There it goes. Cahill, you're great. That's pretty good.
The kid told us his name was Cahill.
Flashlight move across the floor.
You want to hear something really crazy? So that was the first.
That wasn't.
That was the first investigation that we did there. Then we went back the second time. The owner had sent a couple of his friends by who knew the local history. This dude and his girlfriend tells us that a 6-year-old got killed in the street by a car, and then they told us that his mom lived up the street. They didn't know his name, but that kid Cahill was not associated with that building. He had just happened to that building, somehow ran in there or whatever, and just interesting story, the whole thing. And, a lot of history, love the history. My friend Pete's got a 45-minute long EVP, a fight, a conversation. They left their recorder there between this guy and the girl. And we believe it was the girl. They had a fight and the guy pushed her over the railing and she died. I got what I believe is a picture of her. She was trying to avoid our camera, but then she ended up getting caught in a reflection. Uh,
Well, if you have it, throw it up. That would be awesome.
Yeah, it's a really interesting photo because it's actually a camera that was shooting down the hallway and caught her in the reflection of the front door glass. You have to see it.
Wow. Is it video or still?
Let me see.
The dowsing rods, I have a lot of different sets of dowsing rods, ones that I've made and some that I've purchased. The one set that I have has LED lights in them. And so you can change the colors to the LED lights.
This is the doorway. So this is the glass actually to the front door. She was standing behind a kind of a door over here, not a door, but the where you walk into like a hallway, like a wall. But we caught her reflection of that, and then that night that we were all outside, and then taking a break, when we walked back in, the camera had detected a girl going. And she's like, la, 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 la. I was like, what? And it wasn't me. And it wasn't one of us. And I was the first one through the door, So there was definitely in that doorway. The second I had Cindy Thompson, great psychic medium. The second I met Cindy 2 days before at a psychic convention local, and then told her about the investigation. She didn't even know the address until like an hour before. And as soon as she didn't know the history of nothing, we had already been in there a few times. As soon as she walked through the door, she said, a girl died right here. She fell down the stairs. She fell down. And I was blown away because she knew nothing about the history. Nothing at all, man. But we believe that this is that
Michael,
girl.
what's the light source behind the image? What is behind the...
That's the flash of the camera. It was just a hunting camera.
Wow.
That was on a stand about 40 feet away. So down the hallway, it took that photo, and this is in the glass. This whole thing is the glass of the door, of the front door. There was a double door, and that's one side.
But it's weird. It looks like we're part of where the head and the shoulder meet. Looks like your flash is bouncing off of something solid.
Look at this, man.
Oh God.
That we believe is Bill Ely from the Erie Mansion. I went into this one doorway. I took 6 photos. Only a couple had faces in the window. We got this one, and then we believe this is one of the women that he had killed. And this one, there's nothing in the window. The window is black. There's nothing that would cause this image, But yeah, this one here, I don't know. If I zoom all the way in, you can see some details.
Yeah, but I mean, look what I said. Like on the head and shoulders, it looks like it's solid on that side, and then where the flash is bouncing off of the window jamb, she's transparent because there's no light bouncing off of her.
She was stalking us too. She was like following us. You know what I mean? I think she was curious. But we also ran into spirits there that didn't even know each other was there. Like it was very, very. They had a lot of rooms and a lot of different. It was also a tenement for a long time, so a lot of people lived there over the years, and I don't know. It was a very interesting investigation, and we had done a thing where we tried to move people over, and there was a preacher who lived there who was just kind of off the wall. We believe it was him who had the conversation, that yelling with her, and then that's that. I mean, But pretty interesting image. I mean, if there was nothing there, you wouldn't see anything. There would just be a blank.
Pretty cool.
Thanks for sharing those, Mike.
That's the Erie Mansion right there. That's part of it. A beautiful building, incredible building.
Is it right off the lake, or near the lake?
It's off about a block off the Erie Canal.
Okay. Oh, okay. I got you.
That's us doing our thing, man. I don't know.
That was a nice coffin table you guys had.
That was my friend's. I don't know what that is. That was I think that was the same thing before. Yeah, that was my friend's.
I'll be right back, fellas. The
Halloween
decoration is setting in.
It was my friend's Halloween decoration. that barn where we did that seance, whatever you want to call it, we call it a crossing. That barn, John Dillinger hid out in that barn when he was arrested in Ontario County.
That's pretty cool.
That's why actually. So, but my friend Ruth, who owned the farm, she was seeing a young girl. Then her brother died. He got doused in gasoline and burned up in the driveway, and there was just terrible energy going on, and a lot of negative stuff, a lot of heavy duty negative stuff. So, and we always found, but what we found is that the people there who lived there were doing those seances, doing whatever, drawing that energy in. They wanted the to feel the power of that. You know, you run into that sometimes. People who get drawn to that heavy negativity. You know what I mean? That low vibration, and then they just maybe are tempted or they get sucked in. I mean, I've met a few that got sucked into it. You know, and then all of a sudden, terrible things start happening. And then they call you, and they're like, "Oh my God,
Yep, that's how it works.
Help me!" You know, our friend David was like that. That woman, that picture of the woman in the guy's bedroom, that was David. That was his aunt, and you know, he was just drawn. But he's a medium himself, but he didn't want it. He didn't want it. And when he was a little baby, I mean, I'm talking about 2 or 3 years old, his family was doing a Ouija board. They were contacting all kinds of spirits, drawing them in and whatever, and they were into some real heavy duty stuff. So there you go. You know, here's this poor guy who's got to live with it. And he really did live with it. He was genuine. You know, sometimes you meet people who are wacky off the wall. But they believe what they believe. I mean, if it's pathological, you know, they're going to believe it. It's real to them. Then you have to examine, you know, is it really real, or are they, you know, making it up? You know?
Yeah.
We never went into an investigation and found nothing. You know, all the times we were brought in, it was people.
But do we trigger that then, right? Do we?
No, these were situations where people were having experiences and they brought us in. You know, it wasn't like we weren't just walking around empty buildings looking for something. Right. You know, these were phenomenon happening that they couldn't explain. You know, things they would see, doors slamming, doors locking, people being pushed downstairs, scratched. You know, I mean, real stuff. And they wanted to know what was going on, and we would come in and figure it out. That's all. Try to.
That's all you do. Figure it out.
But now, see, and I haven't done this in a while. Now I'm getting back into it, you know, because Pete had a couple grandbabies and he took 10 years off, and you know, I went on my freak out. I took 10 years off, but now I have more questions. I want to go deeper. I want to know more. I want to go deeper. You know, you see the paranormal stuff.
Have you been to places where the owners lied about stuff?
Oh yeah, yes.
Me too, yes. And it's hard when you call them out. And
then Mish wants to know how long this show is.
Another
hour. I live 2 blocks
10,
away from the Amityville Horror House, and the Amityville Horror House had all kinds of stories around it. But I knew the police chief in that town, Amityville, and he told me all kinds of stories. He himself on officers responding when the house was empty, all lights flashing inside, all kinds of weird stuff. Nobody on the premises, nobody around. You know, so a lot of stories. You know, a lot of stories went around that. And that one photo they took of the kid when the kids that were killed, pretty heavy. When you look at it, if you know what a ghost looks like in a photo, you know it's real. You know, because there's a look. It's like an EVP. They don't carry through the air like our voices do. You know, it doesn't resonate. It's very flat, and when you hear it, it's a very flat sound. You know, but when you start.
We'll still be here, Mish.
Yeah, when you dealt with it enough, you automatically know what you're dealing with, and if it's genuine or not.
Yes, it is.
The feeling too, man. You get those feelings when I feel that heavy vibe. I know what I'm dealing with. You know, I mean, you could blindfold me and drive me past the place, and I'll tell you it's there. You become so sensitive. We were dealing with an amazing medium, and she had passed away. You know, she didn't come to investigations with us. She wasn't really mobile anymore, but she was giving us advice, you know. And she said, the more you do, the more sensitive you're going to become. The more apt. Sure. And she's like, whenever you leave an investigation, tell them to stay there. Stay here. Don't come. She says, surround yourself with white light. Imagine that white light's going through your body, through every cell in your body, and all that exploding out. And get the hell out of there, you know, and that's what we did. I mean, but we know investigators that brought stuff home, you know. And they invited stuff home. You know, they're like,
It's not very clever.
Come live with me. I'm like, are you freaking serious? Yeah.
That's the one thing I'm kind of nervous about when we do our investigation is making sure nothing follows me home. But I did acquire this for the investigation. I have one more coming.
Nice.
This one, I don't know if this one works. I had one roll of film left from college. I don't even know if the film's any good, but it's been in a canister, like the little teacup canister they put them in.
Yeah.
And I rolled through 37, and I'm like, oh, cool. Boom. And I open it up, and it's like the leader is still there. And I'm like, what the hell happened? So I refed it, and I think it's going this time. So
I'm like you, Michael. I have kind of all of it, like including a Polaroid. And look, I got this little camera too because I go to a lot of historic places, and it's just a digital camera. But look at it.
That's
nice. Cool.
That's
right?
Nice.
It's kind of got that timey-wimey looking. So we've picked up some stuff, and even with the Polaroid, I've picked up stuff in the Polaroid, which is super cool when that happens.
That would be cool. The Polaroid.
I have a supposition of using facial recognition software in investigations. I'm really curious if that could actually pick out faces like our eyes can with a photo. So I'm excited to use it. I have a real sensitive program too. That's good, but I think that technology can bring us closer.
Well, you gotta be careful because it'll give false results. So just be careful because I use it.
I'm looking for the faces though. I'm looking. I don't. You know what? I want the conversation.
Let's forget I got a degree in.
Like with aliens, I don't want to just see something. I want the conversation, man. I want to know. I want to have a dialogue. So I've had these conversations with paranormal. Now I can do it in real time. Before we'd have to listen to the recordings. Now I'm using this parabolic mic, and I have it hooked up in a way where I can hear what's going on in the room with headphones on, and actually be able to have a conversation. So,
but they don't always want to have a conversation.
Yeah, looking forward to that. It depends. Sometimes they're dying to, literally, no pun intended.
Oh, yeah, for sure. For sure.
Nobody talks to them. Once they realize
you're there, the ones that are angry, the ones that
when we go into a place miserable. I found and we're laughing and having a good time, they come to us. They want to be in on it. If people go in there with attitude, they cross their arms, they think they're tough or whatever, or they start provoking, saying these terrible things. Yeah. Who the hell wants to talk to them if they're doing that? I hit on
you wussies.
I hit on things.
Y'all really think y'all Ghostbusters? You bring your fucking ass down here, and I guarantee you will quit Ghostbusting.
I don't have to go down.
I like to hit on events that happened in their lifetime.
No. Where I'm going, you'll have to be there physically.
I want to hit on things they remember, and that's when they come forward, And then
I'm just going to document it on film. I'm going to bring about probably two 35 millimeter cameras and 4 or 5 Instamatic, disposable colors. But I'm going to bring for each camera 3 color and 3 black and white, or maybe do one camera all black and white, one camera all color, and try to do like I throughout history I've looked at certain pictures of ghosts, and I have an art history background, and so in college I looked at a couple of really cool, cowboy era daguerreotype, tintype photos that allegedly had ghost images. And what I found especially with Michael's image he just showed of the reflection in the glass, that's where most of the ghosts are. They're in a broken pane of glass. They're in a window that's open, a window pane that's open. They're in a mirror in the background. They're in a reflection in a pool or a body of water that's nearby. And I find that the ghost spirits may not realize they're casting that reflection into our cameras. So that's why
maybe it's not a reflection. Maybe they're locked in a different dimension. That's why.
Right. Whatever it is, that's where, maybe that's the doorway to the dimension, whatever the reason is, whether it's the ghost or the dimensional portal. But that seems to be where they're captured. You can't just go, are you going to be here for a picture? Click. You got to take pictures of I would take a picture of the group, but try to frame in like the window behind, Carrie Lynn, or a window behind Joe or something like that, and get reflections off of those. And you got to be careful about flash. So
I'm telling you, if you're really big ghost hunters, there are 4 places I'll take you down here, and I guarantee you won't do it anymore. I promise you. So far, everyone we have taken there has quit. I'm not kidding. No, but everybody we've taken to any spot, it doesn't matter which one of the 4 it is, have always quit. It's very unique. It's very different. First off, just the surrounding itself, being out in Honey Island Swamp in the middle of the night is enough to put most people on the whoa to start off with. But when you start seeing what's going on out there, it's too much.
Well,
Most people are
like
just
camping, you can count me out.
there ain't no camping involved. It's more running than camping.
Yeah.
It's different. I mean, I've been on a lot of ghosts. I live in fucking New Orleans after all.
Right.
I've been on a lot of different ghost places, a lot of stuff downtown's old haunted, 300-400 years. But there are places in Honey Island where things went on that, trust me, you don't want to see. It's scary, literally, because they know you're there. And if they could do what they're doing to the other people to you, they would do it to you. They just can't access you like that. They can push you and knock you over, but they can't slice you into pieces for alligator bait. So it's different. First time I experienced it, I was like, what the is going on here? And then I was just like, no. I actually talked myself into thinking it was some kind of hallucination. And then my friend Matt, he said, no, Joe, we got to go back. I'm like, yeah, fucking why are we going back? We went back. It was worse the second. As a matter of fact, every time you go back, it seems to be worse. It's and then there's a place. NASA decided when they built the Stennis facility to tear down 4 old cities. These are 350-year-old cities like Napoleonville. They left the graveyards though intact and taken care of. So this graveyard you go in, like the one right there, not far from where I live. You'll walk in it. It's got a chain link fence around it. That's to keep the alligators out, by the way. And first thing you'll notice is there's a bunch of little babies. We're talking not much older than newborns, just rows of them, row after row after row. Some plague must have came through. Those are all dated like 1720, 1730, 1780. It's really weird. And then whoever is the master of the place, so they'll come out and they tie these things in the trees. They'll put a piece of string hanging out the tree, and they tie what looks to be like a Halloween ghost. You know them kind of things you see hanging out of trees? And then right below it's a water bottle. Directly below it's a water bottle. Just like a 16-ounce water bottle.
For what
and they're
reason?
Doing it. You don't want to know. It's I've just never experienced anything like that. And then I brought many investigators out because I got a lot of friends that are investigators, and I've had people come down from many states and many countries. Let's go. As a matter of fact, a couple of them don't even speak to me anymore or letting them go. I'm serious. They don't
investigating?
Yeah,
they don't speak to you anymore.
Yeah, everybody does investigate. Everybody investigates, and then they quit afterwards. It's as soon as they realize what's going on, they just quit. They don't want to do it anymore. It's just shit. Whatchamacallit, the guy from Unsolved Mysteries down here, he quit the show after experiencing this. He quit. No, yeah, he said I don't want anything to do with this anymore. It makes you look at the world in a different way. It takes it beyond what we would consider ghosts and demons and stuff. It just takes it past that. It takes it into a whole different thing, and it's just stuff that I warn people when we take them. It's somebody. One of my friends says like going to a horror movie upside down. I don't know what the hell exactly he meant by that, but it's dangerous to boot. It's not without risk, and we tell people anytime you go out there, it's matter of fact, anytime like little people go out, little groups go out, like 1, 2, 3, they usually get pretty messed. They always find them, usually mangled beyond belief, but found. Mm-hmm. They don't think originally they thought it was some kind of animal doing it, and then they realized there's nothing that big in the swamp but a gator. A gator would have ate it. Besides where they were located, there no gators getting in there. It's and I only think the groups are safe because there's so much psychic energy in large groups. At least if there's a bunch of good psychics, that it kind of holds it at bay. But I wouldn't.
You don't have enough psychics, you're screwed.
If I wouldn't go out there. Well, most people are in this stuff have some psychic ability, but I wouldn't go out there with less than half a dozen, really a dozen people. I just wouldn't go. It's and then the other one, the one where all the Indians are buried, that fucking place.
Yeah.
So first thing,
I wouldn't
first
go
thing
there.
you step into the. There's a. I don't even know how to explain it. So this is where we seen the black thing. Matter of fact. So you step into the trail, and the trail widens out, and it feels like you have stepped back in time a few hundred years.
Wow.
It looks like it, feels like it, smells like. And then you step backwards, and it's back to you were the part of the swamp you were in. And then you step forward. And it only happens certain times of night and on certain phases of the moon, but it happens. And we're not the only ones experiencing. But the problem is, a lot of times people don't come back from it. Now we don't know if they went in there and voluntarily staying, or maybe whatever Indians are back there decided to chop them up for food. I don't I don't want to speculate. I'm thinking the good stuff. Maybe they found a little Indian husband or wife or something and are staying. But judging from the stories of what went on back there, it's not. If you are non-Indian, you're probably or massacred in a brutal way. They have some pretty horrific ways where they like peeling the skin off of people, taking a hot knife, burning knife, and using that to peel the skin off while the person's alive, until such a point that they die. So it's and these things you witness it. That's the part. It's not just you're seeing it like an image. You're witnessing it, like you stand there, you're smelling the skin burn, you feel the scream. I don't know how to put it into words. It's not like a typical ghost experience. It's just not. I've been to some scary ones, but not like these. Even I don't want to go back there. I'm fucking crazy. Come on, guys. I chase aliens. I don't even think ghosties are nothing. I don't want to go back in there.
Well, the good thing about chasing aliens is they don't usually chase you back, but ghosts do.
Every once in a blue moon. I'm hard on it because I've seen too many people that have been in the field a long, long time really mess themselves up going out there. A pretty famous group came out of California, and after he bought his hotel, or just as he was buying his hotel, actually, and it was funny because they were like, "Oh, it's okay. It seems pretty quiet," and it was pretty quiet. And then the alligators got to yawning, which is kind of weird sounding.
Alligators?
Yeah, there's alligators all over. It's Honey Island
No, I know
Swamp.
there is, but yawning.
Yeah, they yawn and make
Yeah, they
noise,
yawn.
and when they're mating, they do this call and they whack their tail and they
Hey
throw it in
guys,
the
I
water
want to
and
share
shit.
this picture with everybody.
Throw it up there, baby. Throw it up there. Throw it up there. I need a voice rest anyway.
Can you guys see it?
Not yet.
No.
You got to show
Not yet.
it. Here.
You gotta share it.
I just shared it for you.
Spooky.
That's Jay
Yeah.
when he had hair.
This I don't
I'm sorry,
know.
that was
Enlarge it. Oh wait.
Usually there's a corner spot or somewhere around it. We can all enlarge it ourselves and make it screen size. There we go. Look at that. I just
You
enlarged
see
it.
her?
I can see her good. That's why I said it looked like Jay with hair.
I mean, this photo is so old it's unbelievable. But how this one occurred was my ex-girlfriend. She was panning the room with a video camera, and like a half hour later, I hear her, "Sean!" She screamed real loud, and this is what she got off the video.
Hey, you get some good pictures like that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and for you really, 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 really brave investigators, I'll take you to Marie Laveau's real house.
Yeah, we have to go.
I'm not responsible after that point. I'm just being honest with you. So a long, and I probably told Orly this, but a long, long time ago, many, many, many moons ago. I mean, many moons ago, in a fit of depression and anger right after my dad died, when I was a couple of years, about 2 years after he died. I was 17, 18. I was in the military, and I met Aleister Crowley's great-great-grandson, or thereof. And about a year after knowing him, because I was into magic big back then, and after about a year after knowing him, I told him I lived in New Orleans, and we came down to New Orleans. I said, "Oh, this is where Marie Laveau's buried." He started laughing. I said, "Dude, you're not even from here. What the fuck are you laughing about?" He said, "I want to introduce you to somebody." And he introduced me to Marie Laveau's great-grandson, who the three of us did magic quite often for a long, long time. And the thing of it is they were gifted. I was just a bystander compared to them. I mean, they were just gifted. But Marie Laveau was not buried in the graveyard in Cemetery 1 or 2,
No,
which I can take those. It's they have a house way out in the swamps, about 18 miles deep into the swamp, and she's buried there. And technically, you can only go by invite.
Oh, really? I could see that. I could see
If
that.
I ever come to New Orleans, I said, Joe, I'm gonna be seeing Joe. Please take me around because you lived there your whole life. You know all
I
the
want to
stuff.
go. Yeah, I want to go
I
to
want to go to
Vampire.
Antoine.
The bad part is the really good stuff isn't
I
in the
want to go
last
to
good.
Antoine's. I want to see that restaurant.
Oh, you want to go see him? Oh, yeah. Well, Antoine's because that's supposed to be Lestat. That's why, or he's supposed to be Antoine, not Lestat. He's supposed to be the vampire from France. I mean, when you're walking down that hallway and you look at those 5 pictures on the wall, it's the same guy, just in different clothes. I mean,
That's
it is. And of course, Anne
That's
Rice said that's who he was. He was a vampire. And
Isn't Anne Rice? Is she from New Orleans?
yeah, originally, yeah, she's in San Fran, I think, right now. And her and before the old man died from Popeyes, they got in a big fight over some stuff downtown. She didn't like him building restaurants in the the Uptown district, and he was like, "Yeah, well, you guess what, bitch? I don't care who you are. Don't build a restaurant wherever the hell I want." So she moved back to San Fran for a while. But y'all know when she started writing, she wrote risque romance novels, I guess we'll say. Very risque romance novels before she got into big time writing.
Have you ever met her?
Yeah, I've actually went to several parties with she so there's the vampire ball and there's her ball. So she does one on All Hallows Eve. It's fucking fabulous party. So she bought the it's the where nuns live. It's I forgot what they call it, but it was in St. Charles Avenue.
The nunnery.
And anyway, the place is crazy. The place is haunted like you wouldn't fucking believe. This shit bumping and kicking. There's all kind of shit going on in this place. And she was talking about the different people, but she throws up shit till lately. She threw a party there every year. And so I was invited. I met we had a mutual friend I had met about a decade earlier than that. It's also how I got invited to the vampire balls. So the vampire balls are very different and not for the faint-hearted because they do drink blood at the vampire balls. And so I tell people all the time, be sure you're ready to see what you're going to see. It's not horrible or anything, but they're drinking their little packs of blood or sticking stuff on people's necks and sucking their necks. And they believe that real vampires, the ones that live in the French Quarter, go around biting people so that they can get high and drunk and loaded and stuff. That's one of the big rumors.
I'd kill them. I'd kill them.
And from time to time, people find weird bite marks on themselves, but not like vampire bite. It was just a bite mark. Maybe they're just taking a steak and going psh, and taking it out and then drinking it that way. Who knows what they're really doing? I don't know. I've never been bit by a vampire. I've been bit by
do they exchange favors for the blood?
Do what?
Do they exchange favors for the blood?
Yeah, they do all kind of stuff with blood down there. Matter of fact, that's how the necromancers got in trouble because one of my customers owned the house on Magazine Street, and I was doing some maintenance in there, and they had a corpse in there. So the guy donated his body to the necromancers. And, they do all kind of sex magic and all kind of magic with the dead body. It's supposed to bring all kind of serious magic. And they all got that. Well, I told the owner, I said, dude, I'm pretty sure they got a corpse in here. Sweet. Which, by the way, didn't matter if he donated or not. It's still illegal to have a corpse in your house. And so they came in and arrested the whole bunch of them, drug them all out to jail and shit. He said, you're not worried they're going to put a spell on you? I said, no. Not worried.
Aren't the caught? There's a show on TV about they're cops down in New Orleans, and a lot of them are afraid to go to those places.
No, some of them are.
Spooked out.
They're raised down here. Freaks them out. And if they know real magic, they could be dangerous. But the majority of them act like they do, but they really don't. But there's a couple of good covenants down here that I've been knowing for a couple of decades now. And, matter of fact, one of them the mother just passed away and handed it over to her daughter. But there's only ever 12 in those covenants. There's never any more than that. And they only bring in the 13th either for a sacrifice or for when somebody's going to pass, one or the other.
Here's a question for Lord.
Okay.
Is there ever an Asian vampire? I don't think I ever seen one like in the movies. That's from Nick.
there's a concept, don't you, Carrie Lynn? There's a concept of it, but not called exactly what we would call it. But I want to share something with you guys.
There's some Asian vampire movie out there.
There probably is. Well, I'm going to share something cool with you guys, and you may not think it's much, but it's been raining here all day today. And after watching that series yesterday, I said to my son that passed away in January, hey, if you're hanging around, can you send me a rainbow? And it should be getting dark right now. And when I was off camera, because I had to message someone, I looked up in the sky and there's the most beautiful rainbow. So and it shouldn't have had a rainbow. It should be getting dark, and it was completely cloudy and raining all day. Yes, I know rainbows can come with after rain, but it just was pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. Usually when you think about stuff like that, it happens. There's usually something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Joe.
That's a great
let me camera you. See, this is a good camera for this thing's fabulous with its 80 gig built-in hard drive, and it's 78 times zoom. It's night shot. It's got this special features and stuff. If you're walking through a house in the star, you can actually see through it. It's cool as hell, actually. I got a few cameras. We've done a lot of investigations over the years, but I go on the UFO. I mean, on the paranormal investigations because I got a lot of friends in paranormal. Yeah, GE owns a paranormal place down there. They take you on tours and stuff, and show you all the things, put you in the horse and buggy, and take you around the world and tell you who died there, what's haunting there.
That would be cool. That would be
cool. But actually, there's more than one of them that do it. It's big money and it's a lot of fun, and it's always done at night. They do it at night. There's also the haunted mortuary. You go hang out in the mortuary. The mortuary has a graveyard and a city of the dead on each side of it, and one behind it. So you can go in. There's all kind of weird shit goes on in that place too, and you can rent it out. This is the best part. I don't know if they still do it. So it used to be you could rent it out for investigations. It's already cameraed up and it's got suites in it. You just come with yourself, turn on the cameras, and do the investigation.
That was on TV. That was on TV one time. That place.
Yeah. They've used it a lot of times. I know a lot of people who've gone in and gotten good stuff on good investigations. You don't have to do the work. Everything's there. You got free roam. The whole place is yours to roam around and do whatever. It's a cool little thing, and it's 200 years old. So, most of the stuff you can deal with in New Orleans is at least 200 years old. It's not like most of America where everything's much younger, except for maybe around the Northeast. But it's or and now and then there's Florida. There's always the old Florida is haunted like crazy, especially where the old cities are, like
St. Augustine.
So there's a street there, one of the main streets where they built the walls real high so they could bottle up the troops coming in so they could kill them easier. You can go on that street sometime and just see dead people walking both ways. They're just walking back and forth. It's very weird. It's very strange, but it's whatever it is. If you believe in them kind of ghosty things, it's a very strange thing.
The Dining with the Dead that I did at a new building, it's called the Coach and Lantern. It's it's over 250 years old. It's a limestone building right along the water, and they used to house criminals in the basement and then hang them in the courtyard right behind. So it was the first time that I've done a Dining with the Dead event there. I'm doing a second one in June. It sold out. I didn't even advertise because the first one was so crazy because the spirits in that space were shutting the lights off while we were doing the event. So much like the kitchen staff came out to ask what I was doing out in the front. Like it was crazy. So
please quit this lady.
Sorry, go ahead. I was going to say, when do you want me to show this picture? I'm just downloading it.
I just wanted to show it to Jake when we were talking about like the reflections in the glass and stuff like that. Thank you for helping me.
No problem.
Mm-hmm.
Real quick, while I was in school in Savannah, the building I was in for our video was a haunted building. And,
I told her we were. Oh, this is different, Michelle. Sorry, I'm talking to our fearless leader.
There's a famous restaurant called the Pirate's House, which is right. It's not right on the river, but it's like one block back from it, and people have literally run out on their bills because they were spooked by the ghost that scared that.
I'd be like, you better come back and pay your bill. I'm gonna shoot you in the ass.
I
No,
make people pay their bills before I start my part.
It's been a haunted building the whole time. It's been up there as long as I know. So I mean,
No
it's
ghost
a
people. Oh wait, we got a break. Who's got a song? We got a break coming up. Just being on the bottom now is like cruising it.
I
got a song. I can play a
You
song.
got one. Somebody got one. Somebody pop one.
Okay.
Play the song first.
I guess, can I
Well,
have
you
a
guys
turn
haven't told
next
me you want me to
week
play it.
then,
You
since
can
I
have
can't
one
finish
next.
tonight?
Somebody play a song. I don't care who it is. Do
gonna
not
blow
make
you
me get Martha out. Okay,
I will
Martha's
play
been bored lately.
I have one. Just give me a
Caroline's
second.
never met Martha. Caroline, this is Martha. She likes to meet everybody on staff just in case. She's loaded with silver bullets and holy water bullets.
Oh, Martha.
Silver.
Martha's
Yes.
cool. Give me 1
Yes,
second. I didn't know we were doing it.
silver bullets and holy water bullets. Just in
I
case
didn't
you
know
want to
holy
take a
water
string.
bullets were a thing.
Yeah.
They're made of ice. It's frozen holy water, so there's no trace, no ballistic.
Well, yeah, you don't have to do. Well, you can do it that way, but they actually have these little capsules you buy and fill them up. Okay, give me Martha. Who put this up? I'm shooting
I'll
somebody.
take my turn, I guess, next week, Joe, since I was working
Yeah,
on
you do it
it.
next week. That's fine. Somebody got to play some. I wonder if we get in trouble for Rush.
Well, who's playing this right now? I was going to play a song, but I guess I'm not.
Where's he at? Where's he at? Martha's hunting somebody again. We'll shoot some holy water into my ass. What do you think? What do you think, Fiona? You know, that might be a good thing. Let's listen to Carolina. That might be a good thing to do on the side of the St. Louis Cathedral.
This is Fishbone. They're doing Alice's favorite.
Okay.
Your style, Joe, I think.
She's been hanging out for a while. You weigh as much as a Rottweiler.
Every time I see that, I'm like, wow, like what a performance, you know? I mean,
And you see why I banned Mike from paying songs, man. Oh my God.
I thought I was doing it. I guess I'm taking my turn next week then instead.
No.
Fishbone's one of my favorite bands, and them doing
Oh,
Alice's
Jesus, Mary. It's Randy, that's Carrie Lynn, yes, right there. She's not a newbie, she's been on network for a while. Yeah, I like her show. She's got a good show. You should go check it out on Fridays. Yes.
And Thursday. And Thursday.
Matter of fact, I know she heard her new numbers. She did really well this week too, wherever they were.
From Australia, right?
I know it was here we go, Australia again. No man.
Everybody's from Australia, man.
Everybody's bloody Australia.
Joe's like, oh, you're gonna like her. She's from Australia, you know.
she's an Aussie, man. She's an Aussie. What do we?
I got your picture ready, Carrie. Then.
Okay, thank you.
Mate.
Post it up, baby.
Want me to play it now?
I'm more.
Yeah, we're all good. We're gonna switch
Let me
topics
put
in
it
a few minutes anyway. So go ahead, post it up.
Want me to put it up now?
Sure.
Why is it naked or something?
Yeah, we're putting new pics on the network.
You better watch because Michelle get mad at you.
No coochie shots on the show. This is
I'm talking
That's
to
right.
Michelle right now.
Just topless,
Oh,
man.
wow. That's cool
looks
as hell.
Mhm.
That's cool as hell.
No, is that Aleister Crowley? Who is that?
That's my grandpa, my great grandpa.
Oh, okay.
So he used to read tea leaves. He used to read tea leaves, and he was super intuitive in which, like Willow-Witch Wells and all that kind of stuff. So I had this lady come out. She asked me. We put blackout curtains up. She had just like a regular old digital camera. This was taken 13, 14 years ago. So I just stood with this shadow box that had that glass at the front with nothing inside it. And she told me to think about the people that I wanted to show up. So I thought about the babies that I had miscarried, which sounds kind of morbid, but did they show up in photos? And they were there. And then I thought, could angels show up? And then I wanted him to show up because he's always kind of shown up in spirit, but I never knew him living. And that was the image that showed up. And she didn't know anything about him. And so that's the picture of him that I found in a newspaper article about him doing readings and stuff like that. And then that's what showed up in the image.
John Edwards says those energies are there, all aborted babies and miscarriages. He says those energies are there.
Yeah, they showed up as well too. They show up in readings all the time for me as well. Right. And if I meet people who are legit able to connect in, they always tell me there's a gaggle of kids that show up before I show up because I had quite a few. So they're always hanging around too.
Yeah.
But it's a cool picture.
Living kids are big enough pain in the ass as it is. Oh, well, it's not add no more to it. It's
right.
What's Jeffrey? What about it? I don't know. I've never been pregnant. You'd have to ask Jay about that. I've never been pregnant. I don't know what to tell you, man. I mean, look.
We already resolved this. I mean,
oh my God, Jay, you popped up real quick.
Jay wants his baby to be seen. That's all.
My sleeve tattoo up here is an octopus.
You wait. You had a picture of Jay's baby on your. Okay. What's going on here? What's going on here?
This is alien proto-human spawn. This isn't a. Octopus.
She picked it up on one of those psychic things and it popped into her head. Jay's baby. That thing's all over the place already. No, Reese. Really, guys know about squat about being pregnant. I mean, other than what they deal when they're married.
Although I will say this, my roommate's mother from college said to me, and I quote: "Now this woman had 6 children, all boys, and all over 7 pounds." And she said, and I quote: "I would rather pass a child without painkillers than pass a kidney stone with."
I can tell you as a nurse, yes, I can tell you that most of the patients, especially as a man, because you don't have the levels of endorphins that we do as women for childbirth.
Yeah,
my heart broke for people, guys with kidney stone. Everybody, but men especially, is terrible pain.
I've got 2 as big as my pinky floating around in me right now.
Nothing. I'm with you, Jack. Who cares? They'll pass one day. Go get some lithotripsy.
Gotta drink coconut water. Coconut water is I have friends from Jamaica and Cuba swear by it for kidney stones or anything like that.
I bet you they do all that ganja they smoke.
Drink a lot of coconut water, man.
They're ganja out. What the hell they know if they're
I drink coconut water a few times a week. It's got a lot of potassium. It's very good for you. You know what I mean?
I don't know about no damn coconuts.
I thought apple cider vinegar was supposed to help it.
Yeah, all those nasty things. Yeah, y'all can drink all that nasty stuff.
There's all kinds of natural things that do, but I mean, the doctors tell me to drink lemonade a lot. It doesn't really help.
Good one, Siri. I like what Siri said. This too shall pass.
Well, some of them more. I think some of the kidney stones I've had are more like they've listened to Gandalf. You shall not pass. Because I did. I had one that was.
So sorry for laughing.
No, that's okay. I've had like 30 or 40 of them. The last one I had lithotripsy was about the size of my pinky, right there. It was 11 millimeters one way and 12 millimeters the other way, and the tubes down there are not big enough to hold that, so it had to get blasted.
Oh wow, that's
So
bad.
Only if it hurts you. They'll leave them
how
in
does
there if
it
it don't hurt.
happen?
Huh?
Like how many? Like is it too much freaking dairy? Is it pent
Well,
up anger? Where
there's
does
several
that
different
like
kinds.
30 or
There's
40?
uric
That's a
acid.
lot.
Mine are calcium, and it's because my kidneys don't resaturate calcium back into my bloodstream, so it settles in the kidney, and then it, like centrifugal force, I guess, it forms in like things like to be with each other. It forms into stones, and
Yeah.
they get bigger and
But
bigger and
do
bigger. And then
you
finally
do
they
you,
get.
well wait, but do you take any pills? Do you take any pills? I'm not talking about just random drugs. I'm talking about pills, prescribed pills.
I do take some prescription pills, but I'd had
Okay.
I started getting kidney stones before I had daily
Yeah,
prescription.
no. But they make them worse because they have
Probably.
binders in them. Well, no, they do. They have binders in them, so they'll bind the stone. It's because I got a 12 and an 8. Doc said he ain't doing nothing unless they hurt me. So he said, and they don't bother me. So it's one of them things.
Yeah,
But as soon as they bother me,
nothing they can do about
well,
it.
no, good. One of the kids, they just had to have the tube, ran up the thing and break them up and pull them out. Old school. So when they get too big, even lithotripsy don't work. And they don't, for some reason, they're not wanting to use lithotripsy as much anymore. It must leave damage on the kidneys. The sound wave must do damage or something.
Yeah, it's allegedly that you're only supposed to have it. When I first started getting it, you were only allowed to have it 3 times on each side. Now the practice is 3 times, and you're done.
Well, I can understand that because I know you don't want to. If you get them in both kidneys, you don't want to do damage. Oh, actually, Bruce, one of the number one causes for kidney stones is dehydration. Yes, it's one of the number one reasons you get them.
Water.
If you drink a lot of anything, just drink something, keep them. Yeah, it's unfortunate. It's one of the number one. And when you live places like I do in the South,
you gotta hydrate, a lot of water.
Hydrate.
More than half a gallon a day.
Oh, you heard me say that about
That's
that
what I
test?
said.
You have to wait. Well, I'll talk about it later. It's
according to Louise Hay. I like that. I should have 200 of them.
Carl says ghost is real. Well, what's a ghost? I don't know what a ghost is. I don't even know what the word means.
What's an alien, Joe? What's an alien?
What's an alien? Yeah, they come across the border every fucking day, man.
Well, you know what? You keep saying.
I mean, I can show you every day how they just rushing our border, man. You asking me if extraterrestrials are real? Is that what you want to know? Yes, extraterrestrials are definitely real.
And so ghosts.
But that's because there's actual physical proof that they're real. Plus, there's actually technology.
It's got to bleed through from somewhere.
As far as ghosts,
it's some kind of bleed through, whatever it is. But there is a phenomenon there, whether there's ghosts or dimensional creatures coming over and.
No, I mean, I've always liked to pick on people with ghosts because I know there is some dimensional bleed through, and sometimes paranormal researchers don't like to admit that. But when you talk about all those cases where, I seen my dead mother or my dead father, but her hair was red or her dress was yellow, that's dimensional bleed through. That's a live person in the other dimension because you're so distraught, you're crossing the veil easily because we're pushing against the veils all the time.
I'm interested in the cases where
but everything else is a ghost, or whatever a ghost is.
I'm interested in cases where people are hiking on a trail and then a couple go missing right in front of everybody, man. They just walk through some kind of dimensional door and they're gone. And there's a lot of that, especially in Vermont, believe it or not, and little north in Canada. There's like those dimensional divides, and Lake Champlain is kind of known for that. So
there's a few of them running around.
Further into that,
there's a few of them around that I know of. I mean, there's 5 or 6 around the Great Lakes. Of course, we know about the Bermuda Triangle. There's 1 or 2 down around Alabama.
But I'm saying like missing in front of somebody. I want witnesses saying they were there, then they were gone, like right in front of us. You know what I mean?
Well, there's witnesses that have seen that.
Well, there's also, isn't there the story of the Phantom, the lady in white? And I want to say it's somewhere up in New England, Connecticut, maybe, where multiple drivers are driving down the road and they see a woman in a white dress and they go, "Arr!" And then there's nobody there. There's no body. And they turn around and the woman is gone. There's no evidence of anybody being there.
There's a lady in white up in
the
Gettysburg.
Legend of La Llorona, right? But
that's a thing that's everywhere. I mean, every
I was just going to say that. That's what I was trying to say.
That story. I mean, was this just one time someplace and then everybody just adopted it? See, that's the other problem with anything that's paranormal. And paranormal is a bad word to start off with because it's normal for the people who are working in it. It's only paranormal for the people who don't understand it.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's good. I never thought of that.
Well, it's really how it is for any of us. It's not a paranormal event. It's just an event. It's something that we're looking for, trying to understand. But paranormal is simply just does not fit for people like us. It's but for the layman, I guess it's fine. But even for them, it's a bad word because what is paranormal? Why would aliens and paranormal be connected? Well, they're both paranormal events. So what happens is you need different names for stuff. So ghost hunting is what it is ghost hunting. Why call it paranormal? Everything's going to just fucking be paranormal.
Yeah, but you know what? There's a lot
people
of
in these fields are educated way better than that.
Joe, there's a lot of people out there in the paranormal field that do not like saying ghost hunting. They don't like it.
No, because it doesn't matter what it is. They're tracking something. They're saying they're working paranormal. $10.
They would rather say I'm looking for spirits. But if you say
I'd call them out on that. Well, how you say you're looking for spirits? Maybe a fucking demon or something. I'd call them out on that in a heartbeat, man. Plus, I'd challenge their theories on ghosts. And I'm really good at that. And people see me do it many times. The thing of it is there's no problem with there being something left over from life. We know some ghosts are what? Just images. Or what do you call them? What do you call it? Yeah,
residual.
So we know that's what some of them are. We know some of them are, for some reason, people that do not, maybe people's not the right, beings that do not want to cross over for whatever reason. And the problem for us is we don't know, are they crossing over to this side or should be crossing over to that side? We just don't know. All we know is they didn't want to cross over for some reason. And some of them, like Mike was saying earlier, still think they're alive.
The word paranormal is misplaced because
it's a bad word.
The definition of the word means an event that happens that you can't record with electronic equipment. That's really what it means. It's paranormal. And then we all know that we use electronic equipment to record all kinds of things. But an event is an event. An investigation is an investigation. You know what I mean? It's hard to lump them all into one area. Like you can't say.
When you say, let me do a paranormal investigation, that could be anything.
UFO hunting, tornado chasing, ghost hunting.
That's what I'm saying. It could be any of this.
Do with one another, but they're all people.
But your intention matters too. And an investigation is just that one time. If you're wanting to understand, then you have to keep going back and trying to do different experiments in the same spot or doing the same things over and over in the same spot in order to get data research. Is it data research or an investigation? They're two separate things.
Well, that's how you prove it.
And also, by the definition that Michael just read on paranormal, you can record UFOs with electronic and other means, so it can't be paranormal. Whereas you really can't always, you can't intentionally always record ghosts and that kind of stuff, even though we do get EVPs and some still.
This is a marker of a road that's maybe 20 minutes away from me in Johnson City, is called, and it runs from Johnson City up to Maine, New York. It's probably one of the most haunted roads in New York State that people say anything that could have happened on that road happened on that road, and it literally says death, hanging, whatever.
Yeah,
the cult killings, sacrifices. So now this area is where a Sullivan's March happened. So I mean, if you know about Sullivan's March, George Washington told General Sullivan to go up to the Finger Lakes and kill all the Indians. And then it wasn't about, just the men or whatever, kill everybody, men, women, babies, everything. So where I live, that's where they all gathered, is this area right here. They had a fort, and then they would go from that fort up through the lakes on both sides of the lakes, killing everything in sight. They weren't stopped until they got up to like Rochester, where British troops pushed them back. You know what I mean? But they had killed, God knows how many, and anyway, So there's a lot of that around here. There's a lot of death and suffering and terrible things. There's a waterfall where a lot of Indians had jumped to their death rather to be captured or killed by Sullivan, So, but yeah, the area's got a lot of turbulence, man. When you have that, you have, prime ground for investigation and getting responses,
But when it comes down to it, is there any cities in the United States, for that matter, even a lot of the suburbs around it, that hasn't seen just tons of horrible things.
Well, look at the South, man. Come on. I mean, you got plantations.
That's what I'm saying. Well, no, you got me thinking when Carrie Lynn was just talking a few minutes ago about the event she was talking about. So, if you schedule an event between here's St. Louis Cathedral, well, this is where we sold the slaves on one side, and this is where we executed them on the other side by the hundreds.
I've been to Gettysburg.
I guarantee you, at least 10,000 slaves were executed there. Probably more than that.
Yeah, I've been to Gettysburg, and a lot of people have, but like terrible feeling there. It also feels very tired. It feels tired. It feels like it just needs to be left alone as the graveyard that it is, instead of.
Yeah, it's one of the outstanding battles of the war. It's one of the. It was a 1-day event. Is the most people died in it, and then right across the street in Maryland, in the Antietam battlefield, is the second largest battle from that war. Where
Gettysburg was a 3. Gettysburg was a 3-day.
3-day. Okay, Antietam was a 1-day then. So the both of them though are in the record books of having the most people die on one battle or in one.
Well, there was the most people die in one battle that were from the same country.
But the big suffering happened in Valley Forge. Valley Forge, which is east of Gettysburg, that's where they ate human beings. That's where when these troops, they didn't have enough food, troops were dying. Even George Washington had developed a taste for human flesh. He stated that he was liking it. It tastes like pork. That's real deal, man. You know what? So you want to do an investigation? That's where you want to go.
I don't know. It doesn't sound like a place I want to go.
I know you got to go there, take some spam, make it look like a hand, right? And you go there and start eating, eat a finger.
Maybe that's where we got the term finger sandwiches.
Have a couple fingers.
Jay, how far are you away from Antietam?
15-20 minutes.
15-20 minutes. I love that battlefield. That place is like
it's right
very,
around the corner.
very haunted.
They're right. I mean,
especially
north is
Bunker Church.
The whole.
Gettysburg is 25 minutes one way and Antietam the other.
You had your battlefields, but the whole area where Jay lives, that whole corridor, had skirmishes galore. I mean, there were many battles that happened. And in my family, the Angleys, that family that came over way back when, they had a farm in New Jersey, and there was a skirmish there, and apparently there in back in the day in Connecticut, there were some of the first people that told the British troops to piss off because they had a Christmas tree farm. They were growing pine, and then they tried to claim it as the king's pine and put all this tax on there. Then they weren't able to hunt deer. It was the king's deer and all that, and that's how push came to shove, man. But I have old history. My great grandmother was part of the Daughters of the American Revolution. You know what I mean? And just listening to the stories, like just the family history of just Angleys being rabble rousers all through history makes you feel good. You know what I mean? Because I don't want to pay taxes now. I can sympathize, but some interesting history happened. But yeah, Pennsylvania, dude. Just ripe with history.
Yes, it is.
I mean,
incredible
history.
You know, it's crazy. Everybody thinks if you go on the battlefield, you're going to get a lot of stuff, Gettysburg. Yeah. But you have to remember the first day of the war, they were pushed through the town of Gettysburg. And what I like to do is go through the city of Gettysburg, like 1 o'clock in the morning. Streets are empty, no cars, and I'm telling you, the town.
It's a narrow little burg, isn't it? Those streets are so narrow.
Yes, it is. Very narrow.
So, but does anybody know where the hospitals were? I mean, where most of the people were dying in agony, getting body parts cut off without Novocaine.
The Kadori Farm. The Kadori Farm.
Yep. There's houses right on the battlefield that they use as infirmaries, and apparently they're pretty much alive and well with interesting characters.
Gettysburg College was used as a field hospital. Gettysburg College. Boy, everyone got quiet there.
No, I was thinking somebody just sent me something. Randy Lesha, this gentleman, you want to pay to? I'll take you. No, look, you want to pay me to take you around? Come on down. I'll just drop you off, honey. I'll come back and get you. Well, if you're still there, I'll come back and get you. How's that? It's hey, I told you I ain't gonna be responsible for you, but I'll drop you off. Let you go. Best time to go to.
Do you have to go back in the swamp boat, or do Do you need a swamp boat to get back to her
If
house?
we want to go back, to our house, yeah, we have to take a boat back. It's way back. There's no cars or getting back there. And there's certain parts that the swamp is really really thick, and there are bear back there, and black panthers and alligators. Not
No
just the ghost
Sasquatch?
Well,
Skunky.
they say oh, what is it?
Rougarou. The Rougarou.
No, there's a oh shit, now I forgot what it's called. But they said it's
Skunk ape.
something like
Skunk ape. Skunk ape.
no, it's actually a name. It was I remember when I was a kid, we went back there and what was it called? The Honey Island Swamp Monster, that's what they called it. And somebody had tied up a brimmer bull to see if they could, catch this thing. And they found a brimmer bull thrown up in the trees, 20 and 30 feet up in the trees all over the place. So, everybody's like, wow, it was bigger than a bear, whatever it was, if it was doing that. And we were back there hunting a couple of days later, and we had 2 boats full of people. So it was about 4 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, and we're walking on each side of the canal, and you heard something walking behind us. So the guys jumped in the boat and crossed over the same side we were. So all 12 of us or 14 of us were walking on the same side, and you heard something go pop, pop, pop behind us. And everybody's wearing a big Q-beam on their head. Nobody saw anything. And then you heard it in front of us. And then you saw something really black and big, and then everybody opened fire. But we never found anything. Didn't even find any blood. And I was like, well, I mean, and I'm telling you, we had shotguns and rifles and pistols. Ain't no way anything in front of us got out of there without getting hit. The next morning, we were pulling the boats out of the swamp and getting ready to leave. And the game warden pulls up. He's got a fucking bear in the back. He struck a big one, big black bear, loaded full of bullets. I'm pretty sure we did that. Felt bad for killing a poor bear, but it was a frenzy thing. I was like 16 at the time. Too.
Sometimes it's you, a bear.
But sometimes they say it's back there. I've never personally seen one. Now there's a couple old plantations back there that are creepy, weird.
You know what
we were throwing.
Speaking of bears, because Carrie Lynn and I ran across it. It was her research. Some crazy provincial park up in northwestern Ontario, Northwest Territories up in Canada, but it was bear dogs. Do you guys have any?
I've heard of that. I've heard of them.
Because we had an Carrie Lynn, about bear dogs before.
Now they do breed dogs for bear hunt. They do breed dogs for bear hunt. They are bear dogs.
These are
they're big. They're big. They look like wolfhounds almost. They really do. They look almost like wolfhounds.
That's the bear.
There's Michael. That's one who lives by his house.
Michael's bear.
Wildlife Cam. I forgot you had the bear up there. That's right.
Little bear.
Michael's bear.
A couple weeks ago.
These are cryptids.
Cute
right?
looking.
They were very cryptids.
I'm waiting for it to come back with babies.
Well, you don't want to be around.
As long as they don't look like you, we okay, my friend.
That's how I grew up too.
If you want to catch a Sasquatch, you gotta use a pizza. You put a nice hot pizza out there, man, and they'll come around. Pizza and beer, right? Some kind of malt liquor.
Right.
Now you're the bear drunk. Oh my god. Yeah. High cholesterol bear.
Maybe some Chianti.
Oh, I was gonna say when we were young, because I grew up in Northern Ontario. When we were young, my sister came into the house. She's 7 years younger than me, and she's like, "There's a big brown dog in the driveway." So my dad went out to check the big brown dog, and it was a huge bear. It had gone down between the.
We had a
coyote.
We had a coyote. Same thing. I was talking to my neighbors about a week or two ago, and my neighbor goes, "Oh, somebody let their dog loose." And I looked at her, I said, "That's no dog. That's a coyote."
Wow. The big animals around here know that.
Big old bears up there in Canada.
Yeah, grizzlies.
Big bears in Canada.
We don't have grizzlies though in Ontario where we live, but if you go north enough in Ontario, you get polar bears.
Yeah, well, I know y'all. Somewhere they get grizzly because they were showing their migration into the United States.
Have you ever seen a grizzly? I haven't. We get lots of bears in the city.
No, most people who've seen a grizzly in the wild usually are.
No, nothing else. Yeah, grizzlies are big. They're polar bear size. They're just big brown monster bears.
When you were saying honey bears, Joe, are you talking? Because that's what I've heard them called when they're blonde, and they're supposed to be crazier than a bed bug. Those things, they're really wild.
There are a couple sorts of bears. Down here, what we see mostly is little black bears and brown bears. And most of them are going to get more than about 6 feet, 7 feet tall. And, don't fuck with them. They usually don't fuck with you.
Does everyone know how to tell between the 3 different colors of bears? You got brown, black, and grizzly. You know how to tell the difference? So the brown bear, if you run up a tree, he'll follow you up and eat you. Black bear will come up to you. Will come to the tree and shake it until you fall out of it, and then he'll eat you. The grizzly bear will come over and snap the tree in half and then eat you. That's how you tell the difference.
Yeah, there was a rhyme I heard. If it's black, fall back. If it's brown, there was something like fall down.
Fall
but
on the ground.
It said it basically how the rhyme went. I can't remember the last part, but you're done. Doesn't matter what you do, you're done.
If you're referring to the thing you play dead when a bear's nearby, that's not always necessarily a good idea, because bears do bury other animals that are foul and dead and decaying in the wilderness because it interferes with their hunting senses. But you don't want to have a bear bury you, and if it's the wrong kind of bear, they won't bury you. They might go ahead and eat you.
Yes. Well, bears prefer to eat their food alive. So.
Yeah.
A kid in our kindergarten class was attacked by a bear when we were in kindergarten. It was like on the grounds.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And then
was that
my grandpa? So my grandpa, like I used to go between the houses through the field, which was along the bush line as well too. And he said, when you're coming, just sing loud, because they don't want nothing to do with you anyway. So he said, just sing and make a lot of noise in between the two houses. So
was that in Sault Ste. Marie? Oh, that must have been Sault Ste. Marie, right?
That's why a lot of hikers up in Alaska wear bells.
Yeah, yep. I had bought bells for the kids when they were small. When we were up there,
we used the bells
all the time too.
Makes noise.
Is it so frightens the bears?
Well, bears don't want to do it.
Let you know that you're there. My dad used to put us in the back of the truck. We would go to the garbage dump, and he would tell us we're going to the zoo. We're going to the zoo, and it was like we're going to the dump to watch the bears and the raccoons. That was our zoo.
That's funny. I like that one. I like that one.
Oh my gosh! Yeah. No, we're close. We're both close to the States. Both of us.
Yeah. Where we live. When I see a bear,
that's my niece's house, man. She's like lives a couple miles from me.
And they'll go in too.
Look at the cat standing there, like staring down the bear. That's badass right there.
Where's the cat? Oh, right there. Wow.
Look, watch. The cat's just chilling. The cat's probably like, what the hell?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Wow. So where this big thing
my niece's husband was standing right on the other side of the door with a pistol.
Because bears will go in the door. I've seen them go. Like, I don't know what they do or how they know how. Like, I've seen them. Like,
that bear just knocks the damn thing open because of how much they weigh.
You can push these doors open like nothing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they weigh 800 pounds easy.
Look at that.
That is so cool. That is so cool.
Wow.
Step out right here. I step out the house and say bear. And when he goes, look, I say,
right
I pick up my arm and say, this is Martha. Leave before you get introduced to Martha. Martha wants to be your friend, but if you get too close,
pew, pew,
Martha
pew.
will help you meet your maker.
Yeah.
Could Martha put that? Hey, Joe, could Martha put down the bear?
Yeah, especially with the hollow.
Good.
With the, I keep it well because it's because of the type of gun this is. I can't use the low charge rounds. It won't they jam. So I got to use the high powered rounds. So I got hollow points. I got exploding hollow points in it actually. So yeah, hit them in the face, hit them in the eye, hit them in the heart. They're dead. And you got to remember, I got 31 rounds, so it's not going to just be pop. It's going to be pop, 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 pop. Excuse me, what did you say? Pop, wait, pop, pop, pop. You want to say it again? Hold on, but what you want to do it again? Let's make it 62 rounds, and then he ain't got really much of a prayer.
Oh my god.
Poor Kurt.
Yeah. Hey, you forget I live in a swamp, but we don't fuck around down here, man. You get eaten by. There's a lot of things that we actually eat that can actually eat you. So
I can't believe you guys eat rattlesnakes, and I've heard you guys said they're really good. Yes, I know you've heard you.
Well, rattlesnake. First time I ate rattlesnake, I was actually in New Mexico. No, I was actually in Arizona.
Wasn't that bad? Isn't that
I was in Sedona, of all places. I was in Sedona, Arizona, and they had this little bar, and we went in this little place, and they had a rattlesnake hors d'oeuvres. They had a couple of different things.
I've had gator.
They've had crickets. They had ants. They had all kinds of shit. Chocolate cover this, chocolate cover that. The rattlesnake was pretty good. It was actually quite tender. It didn't have much of a flavor.
I've eaten rattlesnake.
I had grub soup too.
I can't deal with that one. Nope.
It's
It wasn't
They
bad,
do it
actually.
vegan.
most of the stuff, and insects. Only Americans Americans and Europeans. We're the only ones with insect fetish. All the Asian countries and Middle Eastern countries
I
come off the
know.
ground and eat that son of a bitch and things.
Like
It's like
the
a
big,
Miss,
gross ones. Yeah.
hey, Miss, do you guys eat bugs down there in New Zealand?
Nobody, not New Zealand. New
It's in
Zealand is
Australia.
paradise.
It's mostly the
All
Southeast
right, I
Asian
think she lives
countries.
in
Bugs on a stick, scorpions on a
New
stick.
Zealand is
You're in
paradise.
Australia, right? I know you are. I know you
Nothing
are.
bad happens
He's
in
my
New Zealand.
birthday twin, Sean, because her birthday's the
she
day
is.
before mine, and because of the time difference, I always say we're birthday twins.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Joe Camel, why'd you mention me in a comment? I wonder what that was about.
So do they call it boudin? What is boudin down in the south? I've heard that before.
Boudin is it's a rice based sausage. It's one particular piece of pork that they really cook down to nothing, and sometimes they'll throw in some other stuff. Now hoghead's cheese, that's anything you got left over from the pig goes in that, and sometimes it's really good, and sometimes it's horrible. But boudin's the same way. Boudin is either really, really good or really, really nasty. It just depends. And they also got crawfish boudin too. So it depends who you get it from, how good it is. Some of it is fabulous. And then they got andouille. Andouille is one of the best sausages you ever get. But whatever you do, don't eat a whole piece. And if you're going to use it for food, if you want to use this much, actually use about this much. This shit is very potent and adds a lot of flavor to food. It's really, really, really good. And then but down here where they make all that shit, we don't order that in from China or anywhere else or Mexico.
It's made locally, isn't it? That's how I've seen it.
It's really good too. It's but you know what you can't get anymore is rabbits. My damn business partner used to give me a rabbit. He was breeding them. They were tender. He'd call me up and I'll be all cleaned up, ready to go. And then they'd pop it in the oven, barbecue it up. Oh, things were fat.
We used to raise them to sell them.
Yeah.
All the Italians would come at Easter time.
I was just thinking that. That's a Canadian.
It's true, but yeah,
that's good. Girls get even a waste of time to eat the damn thing. It takes too much work.
And pheasants.
Pheasants are good, and down here you learn to eat everything. I mean, you live in a bayou, you eat every damn thing. If it moves, you eat it.
Well, there's lots of moose and deer up here. Like everybody, I just
moose. I'm not a big fan. A friend of mine sent me some moose. And he wanted me to send him some cottontail deer. So we swapped out. And the moose is just, first off, it's a little.
There's a market close by that sells bison. So bison sausage.
Bison's good.
Bison doesn't taste all that much different than cow does.
No, it's good.
Deer, it's leaner. It's leaner than cow. It's leaner.
It's actually quite a bit leaner. Deer is actually leaner than bison, but the thing about deer is it's all on where it's cows really the same thing. So down here, they like to eat soybeans and mushmelons. So it gives it a really nice golden color meat, nice soft flavor, really, really delicious. You don't have to put in
I'm
that.
getting hungry.
There's no wild taste out of it.
Pizza crust again.
Hold on, let me see if I can shoot it off.
You know what? We haven't talked about food in a while. That's right.
I know.
Yes, actually, there's some other stuff we should have talked about tonight, but we'll leave it for another night. A lot of bad stuff going on in the world right now. It looks like Israel's going to go blow up Iran's nuclear facilities.
No.
I know they were planning on doing it the other day, and I was like, "There you go." Like planning, you know what I mean? They already had that plan.
Ukraine went and blew the. Oh, you know what? Now this is sad and funny at the same time. So North Korea launched a ship the other day, and it fell over and fell.
Oh, you see that too?
It's dog.
I had to watch that.
Oh, man, what the fuck? So somebody got executed for that, right? See, we're laughing, but some poor motherfucker got executed for that.
Well, probably a whole bunch of people got executed for that.
I'm thinking you're right.
You know what the funny part about that, Joe, is that Kim wants that done again by the beginning or ending of June.
I don't know. It's $160 billion laying on its side. Yeah, I don't even know if that's savable. If it's kinked in the middle, it's not even savable. You'll never get that ship to float right. It's and if you send it out against an American cruiser, it'll just get destroyed. So If I was him, I'd take it apart, start from scratch, build another one, and learn how to launch a fucking ship. I mean, it's not that hard to launch a damn ship.
You were in the Navy. That's not fair, right?
Well, no, I mean, I live in states where there's a lot of water, so there's a lot of shipbuilding goes on down here. There's a lot of launches goes on. I do it all the time. Matter of fact, there's a couple places where if they use a canal to launch it, you can go stand on the other side of the canal. When they drop it into the water, it pushes this big wave up. It's like a little tsunami, man. It takes you up, drag you off. It's it's just something to do, but it's one of them things. We're all gonna die some way, right? Might as well have some fun along the way.
That's
Ooh,
there he is. He's pissed.
You'll give a good blowjob, I hear. We'll give him good blowjob.
Lost weight.
Yes, because you give him blowjob.
Or he's
complexion looks good too. Well, I'll leave that alone. But anyway, look at this poor thing all fucked up. That's the front of it up there. Still on land, no less.
I know, right?
Oh, I'm King John.
How do you actually flip over a boat? I mean, that's gotta be. You gotta be.
Because it was in the launch. Okay?
Huh?
It was in the launch. It was in the launch.
Oh, they were trying to put it in the water.
Yeah, the front of it didn't come unhooked.
You were in the Navy too. You were in the Navy too, right?
Oh, it looks bad.
I was.
I thought you were too.
Oh, Sean, you should have joined me on the other show. We had
Navy, the U.S. with like Joe was too. Not that one. We're showing.
You should have joined me earlier, Sean. We had another one of those interrogators on today with me on Arthur's Quill.
Oh, I
That's
saw.
like the fourth.
No,
that's the fourth interrogator I've ever interviewed. Huh?
He was on the show. I was.
Oh, not James. No, not James. That was somebody else.
Is that his sister or one of his wives?
One of his wife. I do believe it's his wife.
Yes. No, his sister don't go around. His sister to kill his ass, stab his neck. That must be his sister.
I'm more afraid. I'd be more afraid of his sister than her. Honestly, than him.
I've heard that. Yeah, I've heard that.
The sister, they don't.
Yeah, the only reason his sister hasn't killed Kim because when Trump embarrassed him and made him go underground, in 2016, the only reason she didn't kill him, she could have, is they weren't going to give her power because she's a woman.
Yeah, that's what I
ain't that a bitch, man.
Happy belated birthday, Kevin. Sorry that I missed it yesterday, but happy birthday.
Don't forget it's Memorial Weekend, people. Hi to all the soldiers out there. I hope y'all doing okay. If you need help, get it.
Yeah, it's Memorial Day weekend in the States.
Memorial for us. That's a long weekend.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
We know when your weekend is in Canada because we always have Victoria Day or May long.
I always tell them, give a vet a hug. Yes.
Yes,
yeah, if you got big boobs, you can still give them a hug. That works. That might even work better.
Thank you for your service.
Yes,
thank you.
It's
yeah,
we've been doing
like I said at the beginning of the show, I said that is the reason. My brothers and sisters that were in the military, and I'm including Canada too, died.
Yeah,
so these people. Joe, you interrupted what I just said. I got ADHD.
I didn't even know you could hear.
I got ADHD, dude. So you just threw me off there.
I think we all do.
But no, that's why people get their 3-day weekend and get the barbecue with their families because of the men and women who died for this weekend. So please say a prayer for them, or or do something.
Thank them for their service.
Yep.
Yes. Give a vet a hug.
That's on Veterans Day.
Exactly. You know what I noticed too that I found was interesting, that show, again, I'm going to bring it up, but the Surviving Death series, they mentioned that most people that do like what you do, Carolyn, what I do, what you do, most of us that are really intuitive have the ADHD brains, and we're built.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
really?
Built differently to perceive and be able to, with the way our minds dart around and change and shift. It was quite interesting. It was came from science.
Yeah, I was diagnosed ADD ADHD, so I have attention deficit disorder and the hyperactivity on top. So I have the two ADD ADHD thingies there.
How many people in this group are going to go extinct?
Eventually, one day.
No.
Go.
If you've got RH positive blood, you're going extinct.
I'm going
you know what?
negative.
Beverly
I got
told
O
us.
They're breeding
negative.
you out of existence. They're breeding you out of existence. It's a
Okay,
fact.
what
too.
about
I got O
RH
negative.
Null?
Ah, suckers.
So, what about
Yeah.
RH Null? Because she, Beverly Rhodes, Carrie Lynn had her on first, and I had her on Monday. It was a last minute thing, and she said there's a new blood type they're finding. Now, I have not seen this yet, but she said RH Null because I told her all about what you've done. I tell everybody about your RH
As far as
negative.
I know, and I just talked to a hematologist not that long ago. It's still RH negative and RH positive, and even if it's a null, it'll still fit in one of the two.
Okay.
That's the primary categories. But positive people, I'm sorry, I love y'all, but
I'm negative.
One of the cool things I can say about, at least for, I think for anyone who's ADHD, I don't know if you remember this, but my grandparents somehow found out that because my brother and I were ADHD, which is attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, that you feed a child that's that hyperactive with caffeine, 20 minutes later they're out cold. My grandparents fed us coffee
right now.
so much to knock us out every day.
that's why I used to give them speed when
Here's
they were
what's
kids.
crazy with
That's why
me.
Ritalin worked on
Yeah.
kids. It works
Isn't that weird?
was with adults.
Even no,
Just
Jay,
spit it out, you give him
honestly,
caffeine and he jumps out.
I'm gonna be 63
Crazy.
pretty soon. If I drink caffeinated coffee, man, I am out like a light. But if I drink decaf, I'm up all night.
Wow.
Yeah,
Nope.
it's
Coffee.
I
can never
don't
figure
know what
that
the
out.
fuck sleep is. So,
But if I eat chocolate chip pancakes, then I'm happy and I get good dreams.
Who isn't? Well, I'm surprised. I've met more people that don't like chocolate than I've ever met in my entire life. How could
I
you
love chocolate chip pancakes.
We have to get
It's
those
the only
people
way
off
I'll
the
eat them.
planet. If you don't like chocolate, get off. Well, no, that's maybe that's a good thing. There's more chocolate for the rest of us.
More chocolate. Yes.
depends what kind of chocolate you want.
Yeah, maybe it's got some.
So
some
anyway, before I know we're gonna be wrapping up soon now. So tell me more about y'all being
Well,
subsidiary.
Cadbury's
to
is so
King.
yummy.
Oh yeah, those are good. I like dark chocolate.
This is from England, right from England, man.
Yeah.
By-
We get it in Canada.
My friend used to work for that company. He was their marketing director, and so every Christmas he would send me Toblerone bars and Cadbury bars, and
tastes good.
Oh,
It tastes like Easter, man, because Easter is all about Cadbury, like.
No,
so you bite into it, it's gonna bring you memories back to
What were you gonna say, Joe?
I forgot now.
What?
Oh no! I want to know more about this king coming over, and I didn't know y'all had to listen to a king. I thought
We
y'all had a
do.
prime
We're
minister, and you
part
said
of the
fuck the king.
Commonwealth. We're part of the Commonwealth.
Ain't the Commonwealth
But I
just
thought Canada had become independent. So why did he need? Why the king?
You mean King Trump?
I told
apparently
you
the
guys
king got a
last
lot of
night,
power over the
no
Commonwealth.
freedom of speech, which we thought we had. Our Charter of Rights, you might as well wipe your butt with it. We have no right. That's why I
I'm
keep
gonna make a King Trump song. King Trump.
Yes.
Trump.
Because I keep saying, and I will continue to say, your forefathers were geniuses who wrote your Constitution.
Okay, here's a question. If you are part of England in the Commonwealth of England, how can Alberta become a U.S. Commonwealth?
They can vote themselves out, apparently.
Yes, Alberta's different though than the rest of the provinces. Like they don't have the tax that we do. They don't seem to have a lot of the same issues that the rest of the provinces do. You can add
alcohol is privatized there as well too.
Whereas most alcohol, like I can't believe, like I haven't been over the border in a long time, since the last probably 5 years. But when you go over the border, I used to just about fall over and faint to buy 60 ounces of, say, vodka. Now I know it's probably gone up with inflation, but it was like $10, like up here to buy. And I don't drink, but if I did, 60 ounces of vodka probably, and that's not even real premium brands, is probably about $80 now, and it's all through the government.
Wow, dude.
I'm thinking we should get some boats, guys. I think we can.
14 Commonwealth countries.
Maybe we should open the northern border and just
People made a lot of money that way back in the day.
That's right. Yeah, maybe we should just go into Canada from the States, man. Buy out the state stores and go into
It's
Canada.
a good time for you guys to come up here because your dollar compare, if you want to buy something online, most things are through United States, right? And never mind the tariffs now, but on top of it, if I say pay $1, I think it's $1.40. Say it's $1 US, it's $1.40 Canadian. So it's really expensive now. with the exchange because our dollar's in the toilet too. Mm-hmm.
So I didn't know there's 14 countries in the Commonwealth. I knew India was in it.
See what Sherry wrote.
Oh, our show was censored? Oh my gosh. Did you see that?
Check that out.
What?
Currently, the U.S. dollar is purchasing 1.37 Canadian dollars.
Yeah, but it just depends, I think, between your bank and stuff. And you are right about that, Jay. But it just depends, I think, where you shop. But it usually I can count on paying $1.40 per dollar, depending on what it is in the States. That's scary that they censored the lot because Sherry's in Canada, I believe, and she said she went
Newfoundland.
Pardon?
She's in Newfoundland.
Oh, that's right. Sorry about that, Sherry. And she said the last part of the show was censored. She had to go to Rumble to watch it.
Wow. Well, let me ask you guys this: why then does it make nonsense for the two countries to combine? Why shouldn't Canada and America combine into one larger country with another 50 states? Because there's enough land in Canada to make 50 more states. Let's just make it an even 100. Why is that a bad idea?
Well, they'll never do that. They have to work that.
No, it would be a province, or not, like
like provinces y'all have, those would become states.
What Samoa is to us, like that type of thing.
I forgot Kevin's in Canada too.
Not really a state, so they still have their independence in a way.
No, they would be a Commonwealth. Puerto Rico.
Same here, Kevin. Same here. Same here. I'm 10 minutes away from the reservation, so
it would benefit.
Matter of fact, that's the only way they can do it is to make them a Commonwealth like Puerto Rico, because they can't vote in the presidential elections. But they can vote in anything else, just not presidential elections.
I don't know, Mish. How would you feel though if New Zealand and Australia all amalgamated, right? But I'm not speaking
for they will take them fucking Aussies out.
Well, Australia's got a problem with China. They sold off one of their big islands to China for a vacation spot, and then China said, "No, we're not going to restrict the Australians," but now they are. And then the Chinese military's been seen around there, whatever. Australia's got a lot of problems, man, and it's going to get worse before it gets better.
Doesn't matter. Look at Puerto Rico and United States, like Joe just said, Mish. She goes, there's water between New Zealand and Australia, and I recognize that. Alaska's way above in the middle of Canada, and it still belongs to the U.S.
Damn skippy hippie.
Water,
that's right.
Well, it's 2/3 water.
We also have we also have Guam and not Guam and Midway Island are also Commonwealth.
Hawaii.
Lovely islands of Hawaii.
Hawaii's full on state. They have full states' rights and all that.
Isn't Cuba part of us too?
Well, Cuba, as they like to call it, is inside of our waters. Wow. Because if you're in Key West, Florida, you're only 69 miles from.
But we lease Guantanamo Bay from Cuba. We lease it from them. We have like a lifetime
Guantanamo,
lease.
Yeah. Actually, we don't. We just fucking told them we were keeping it. Is what we did.
It's a weird deal, isn't it?
Yeah, we just took it over after the Russians tried to put missiles. We were like, nope, we're keeping the presence on your island no matter what. You can get over it.
It's crazy.
Honestly, why we haven't? I honestly don't know why we haven't just taken Cuba over yet.
I know because Guantanamo's right there. It's crazy when you look at the proximity.
I forgot how exactly it works, but when you're at the tip of the Keys, they're actually inside the 75-mile marker, so they're ours anyway. I don't know why we just don't take. And they would be better off for it. I mean, we're coming, they're driving around in 55 Chevys and Dodges cars. They can't get parts for.
We were in Gitmo for sea trials, and how they took us from the ship to the bar, which had the beer had formaldehyde in it.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah, it did. They would put us in cattle cars. No shit.
Wow.
Cattle cars. Oh yeah, it is so hot. Oh my god, it's so hot. I despise that place. And one more thing about that: if you go on the roofs of the barracks and look over toward Cuba, you can actually see missiles being pointed at that island.
Oh wow!
Yes.
Wow.
You ever been down there for sea trials, Joe?
No, I've been to Cuba before, but I've never been down there for sea trials. Now I was actually in Havana.
Try being put in general quarters at 7 a.m. and getting out of it at 10 p.m.
Oh, I can imagine because it's a humidity pit down there, just like being in New Orleans. It's just a big.
How's the weather right now, then?
It's Cuba is it's a very warm place.
Yeah,
No, where
There's a
you
lot
are.
of rain too. They get a lot of rain. They're very warm.
How's
But
the
you know
weather
what? They're
for you?
strategic.
Your
And
weather.
where?
Tell what else they have down there that are scary. They got them coconut crabs, man, and they're huge. They come right at you. They
They
don't
have
bite.
that one really big claw, Sean, if I
Yeah, they
remember.
come right at you, and they're big. They're like this freaking big, and they come right at you. They do
That'd
not
be their
run
biggest
away.
mistake. They would be in a pot of boiling water. Be like, come on, come over, you all. Go be a good crab and come to daddy. Yeah, in a pot of water, you going.
Yeah,
Joe,
the
you
good thing,
saw these
the good thing with a
suckers?
dumb crab like that, you just stick a big stick in its biggest claw, and it'll clamp onto it and not let go. You pick them up,
We
drop
put
them in boiling
alligators
water.
in a pot of boiling water. Ain't no fucking crab going to bother us. Should we put shark in water? We don't care. If it's, I'm telling you, if it's edible, we eat it down here. It's what's that, Mark? No,
Speaking of shark, we started selling it at my store.
Oh,
in the
really?
seafood department.
Really?
Yeah.
Where's it coming from? Japan?
Black tip,
damn,
reef
black
sharks.
tip.
I think
Good.
they
Them
are.
fucking black tips are mean as shit.
Yeah, they are. You ever see that Survivor? There's a Survivor episode where the survivors they somehow they lucky enough to find a baby reef shark, and they scare it up onto the beach and they beat the crap out of it, and they're like, yay! Yeah, well they ate it. No, I mean it's not like they didn't.
That's terrible.
Well, when
Oh.
you're hungry, you got to
When
eat
you're hungry,
something.
yeah, they don't give you
They're
but
doing
5 pounds of rice.
humanely. Don't
First off, why didn't they make a spear? I mean, if you're on an island, you can
Well,
spear.
they
from-
did, but they weren't very effective. They didn't know what they were doing.
I gotcha. Okay.
You know, Mitch, we've been having dolphins washing up on our shores lately.
Oh, have
Not
you
a lot.
too, Joe?
Yeah, we've had a few of them wash up in past weeks.
Oh,
I don't know
wow.
what that's about. Mainly young ones, but still, yeah, it's kind of weird.
How do they taste?
You don't eat nothing dead. I tell you, we like to cook that stuff alive. Unless it's steak.
Well, you know what?
Alive.
We looked it up online, and for shark, you have to soak it in milk for about
I've
3 or
heard that,
4
yeah.
hours.
Same as really
before you
fish.
can.
But that's good. I mean, if you got rainbow trout or speckled trout, that's a good thing to do too. I mean, cut them.
Not
you know,
trout. We do it for cod. We do it for perch. We do it any white fish. We soak it in milk, especially catfish. You soak it in for 4 or 5 hours. Take it
Would
out.
you get some nasty catfish? You must get some nasty catfish.
Man. We have blue.
I mean, what kind of y'all getting? Y'all getting like bluegill or something like that?
Mud cats a lot.
If you're getting yellow belly cats, you just don't know how to cook them. That's all. Yellow bellies are
Got
delicious
some Pittsburgh catfish, man. They make you go out there and fish it from the rivers.
Oh man, yellow bellies are good eating. Croakers are good eating too, but I mean, yellow bellies.
You know
are
how
good
to catch it with a fistful of crap, like you do fish. The fisting. You go in there and then they grab a hold of your arm.
Yeah. Yep. That's called noodling.
Noodling. Yeah, I've watched that before.
No,
that
that's
would freak me out because it looks like it hurts, and you're underwater and it's all muddy and you can't see what you're doing. Ooh, that would freak me out.
Yeah, well, what if you reach down there and it's not a catfish, it's something else, and you?
That's what I keep thinking. What if it's a snapping turtle?
Yeah, missing a finger.
Well, if it's a snapping turtle, you're dead. You just lost your arm.
It's probably called noodling because those people aren't using their noodle.
That's for sure.
If you want to catch a catfish, you know what you do? You take a stick of dynamite, you take a lighter, boom.
Oh, come on,
Jay. You pass them out.
There's gloom and doom. There's the gloom and doom.
I know. So you can catch them down here just fishing in the bottom with shrimp, but the easiest way to catch is string out a trout line. You get all kind of lovely stuff. You get big cat, little cat, spoonbill cat, bluegill cat, gaff cat, you name it. We got every fucking catfish and his mama living down here. It's but the yellow bellies are the easiest to eat, and they're good. But man, speckled trout, we get speck like 4 times a year. They're just delicious. And rainbow, you have to get shipped in. We don't really have. It's not something.
We have them up here. Do you guys have them in where you are too? Still, like in Gulf?
What's that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought so. Yeah.
What's that?
Rainbow trout, speckled trout.
Oh yeah, we got. I'm in Pennsylvania. That's like the number one fish. The fish board. You have to pay like $40. You have to pay $40 plus an extra $5 or $10. You need to buy trout stamp.
Oh,
now
you can
when steelhead comes.
You can't trap them. You just have to fish them like with a rod and a hook.
Yep. And then when steelhead comes into play, you have to buy another stamp for the steelhead.
Yeah, you have
You
to
go
buy a
fishing
license up here too, unless you're indigenous.
The hell with all of that. We get a freshwater and a saltwater license. The hell with all that other crap. We get a small game and a large game license. We don't need none of that other crap. Except for ducks. For some reason, you gotta have a fucking stamp for every duck that flies around. Oh yeah, ducks are just ridiculous. They got all kind of points you got to keep track of. You know, I got a game going good one time. I was like 300 points over the thing.
That sounds like.
So he goes, you know, we're going to seize your boat and your gun. I said, whoa, what do you mean? He said, yeah. I said, no, that duck was killed last.
Yeah.
He said, what are you talking about? I said, it was the last duck I shot. You ain't taking nothing of mine. I said, you can take the damn duck. I said, you go feel him. He was the last duck I shot. I said, I didn't know what he was when he was in the sky. I just shot his ass. And I said, when he came down, he said, oh shit, so a greenhead mallard, I'm over my limit. And he looked at me. He wanted to get pissed, but he knew in court it would hold up. So he said, you just man, you know, next time you're that close to your limit, you just need to go ahead and quit then. I'm like, well, I said, all right. But I said, there's ducks out here that are 75 points. And he's like, well, you know, it doesn't matter. You were too close. I was like, okay, well.
You're lucky because I know a lot of we call them M&R in Canada, in Ontario, at least I know, and Ministry of Natural Resources. Those guys, and I mean no disrespect because I know there's good and bad people, but those guys are like mall cops. Like once they got you, boy, you lose everything. They'll take it all.
They tried. When we didn't know when I first bought this house, the boys were out fishing on the back dock. And it used to be down here, if you owned the property, you could fish out 10 feet from your property without having a license. Well, they changed that. So Sam had caught a bunch of specks. You know, he was having a good night. Fucking game. It's 2 o'clock in the morning. Game one comes out of nowhere in his boat. Pulls him up, throws 2 of the fish away because they were undersized or something. Tells him the rest of them he was going to have to pay $1,000 a fish. They had like 18 fish. And he came up and said, well, the company can pay for it if it gets bad, Sam. I said, because, you know, we were partners. And I said, we'll just go from there. And he went and seen the judge, and he was honest with the judge. The judge said, well, what? He said, you're going to have to pay the fine for the two that were undersized. He said, but the rest of it, we're just going to drop. But that still is $500.
Let me ask you this. What's the difference between that and the king's deer and the king's trees? You know, I mean, what was really won, the Boston Tea Party? What was really achieved? Because we still have to pay through the ass for everything. In New York, there's a fee or a tax for everything. You know, they're even taxing electronic service fees. So if I order something from you and I tip you $8 or $10, I have to pay a tax on that because I pay it electronically. Every little tiny thing they nail you on, man. You know what? It's got to stop. It's crazy. It's got to stop, dude.
Now, if we let them go with electronic money, it'll just get worse. Now,
yeah, it's going to get worse.
So now, you know, it used to be, in the old days, you'd owe 10% tip. Now it's 15%. Usually it's either 18 or 25. Or
18. And if you have a group over 6, they mandatory it over 20. You know what I mean? Mandatory. So 18 on top of that, and then 20, which is crazy. That's crazy. You know, they're talking themselves out of it.
And you know what? I hate to say, I mean, if last time we were at a big conference down there, I bought everybody dinner, and I think it was like $550 for dinner. And the tip, I don't know, it was over $100. And the guy said something to me. I said, well, the food was fabulous. I said, the waitress she screwed up a couple orders, like 4 or 5 orders. And it was a big group, you know, and everybody was loud and yelling. We'd been conferencing all week long. So, but still, I told him, I said, I would have liked to decided to tip myself. I said, this is a point against you.
Yeah, I hate when they do.
Then I properly introduced myself as a radio station owner, and he just kind of looked at me like, you know, man, he said, why don't y'all come to dinner tomorrow night and I'll comp half your dinner on us. They bring the whole group back, and he said, and then when we came back, he comped the whole dinner, which actually was about $750 that night. And I said, well, I'll talk nothing but good about you now, but it's just, you know.
Did you see the dinner Trump had for these guys? Did you see how much it was a plate? $1.7 million a plate.
What the fuck were they eating?
I do not know. It was on one point something million to have a plate of food with Donald Trump. And the sad thing was he never stayed around for the dinner. He took off and left.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, so you want to talk to the president? That's what it costs you to go see You want to be in the presence of the emperor, you know.
Will they take?
So wait a minute now. While we on camp, wait, yeah, no. Let's digress for a minute. We'll come back. So I'm thinking about Canada. I know the king's coming. So the king's busy sucking, Donald Trump's, big thumb right now, and so I'm thinking there's a conflict of interest here because Britain and Canada's financial goals are different right now.
Are they?
And yes, they're drastically different. And the king is more likely side with, of course, the British government, which, of course, he just left making a deal with Trump a couple of weeks ago. He was in the White House with all the lights off and, doing the wild thing. I'm kind of wondering if Canada ain't gonna get screwed more here. We're gonna have to do something about Carney. Carney, you got to go, man. You're getting everybody. You're making life hard on everybody already.
Agreed.
What was his name? Polly Wussy Head or something?
They wiped him off the map. Pierre Poilievre.
Yeah, I heard he got canned and now he went somewhere else to try to get back in or something.
Alberta.
Alberta, is that where he went?
Yeah.
So
I know, Lori. Carrie Lynn just moved to Alberta, man. Go.
That's where my son is.
I might. I said the same thing last night. If that happened,
yeah,
I might.
You did.
We were there before when the kids were small, and my son moved back there.
Just might do it.
I don't know. My phone always says I'm 5,000 feet above Saskatchewan once or twice a year, so I don't know what the fuck that's about. I'm not kidding. You'll be sitting somewhere and all of a sudden it'll come up. You're in Saskatchewan, Canada. I'm like, really? I've never been there. And then it says altitude 5,000 feet. It's been going on for like a decade and a half. I've posted it to the internet, the whole thing.
You guys forget this, that Quebec tried this before too. Trying to separate it never worked. Yeah. Joe, I've never heard that before about Saskatchewan being right over top of you.
No. So every now and then my phone, this has been going on for almost 20 years.
Okay.
I'll look down at my phone and it says, how it tells you where you're located.
Okay.
It says you're in Saskatchewan, Canada at 5,000 feet.
Oh, maybe it's.
And it's been doing this. And look, I have taken pictures. I've actually put it on camera so people could see it. It's ridiculous. I mean, I don't know what it's about. And if it was an alien abduction, that's all fine and dandy. But why there? I mean, what's going on there? Is there like some shit parked over there? Is that what the problem with pink shorts? Oh, that's why he's so fucked up.
People don't.
Hey, Michael, what's your show on tonight about? What's your show about tonight?
People don't want to go to Saskatchewan. That's what I'm saying.
Saskatchewan's a weird place, man.
I'm going to talk
Who
about
fucking name that place.
Manipulating universal energy, what we call the universal flux, what we also call the dragon's veins, man, and using that energy to produce.
Oh, I thought you said dragon veins.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Okay.
We're getting ready to get out of here in a few minutes.
Last week I talked about taking control of your life, creating the world around you. I don't know, Joe. You said I got written up or something.
No, you didn't get written up. You got a profit sharing thing. So
what does that mean?
That means that you said something, or there was something in the conversation that wasn't quite kosher. So not bad enough that they won't. They'll share the profit somewhat. So you can't be on everybody's advertisement, but you can be on some. Well, like this show. So this show gets a thing. So I always tell them we curse on the show, and it says, "Do you use the F word?" I said, "Of course," and multiple times. But it tells us we can be shared, but only to some people,
It was a positive show. That's kind of funny,
Yeah, don't ask me. When it comes to Facebook, YouTube, I'm glad they're letting us do what we want to do and behave, and so I'm going to stay on my good side with them. But it's been a little weird lately.
That's why we didn't play our intro. Carrie Lynn had an amazing intro for Thursday night. And I've never had this on YouTube. I put it up as a reel and it was 1 minute and 2 seconds and they blocked it because it had Supernatural. It had a scene it had death from Supernatural. And it was so cool and they got it right away. So
AI sucks for us, man.
Well, we didn't want to risk it, so we didn't play it. Yeah. Everywhere else was fine, right, Carrie Lynn?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah,
it's very strange what's going on with AI right now.
That's
we'll
what
do a show in the near future. Well, I got a couple of more on the computers because I'm working on that abduction series with that. But so far, I get started and I get preoccupied or get pulled on to something else. And the station's been weird
Elon
lately.
Musk wants to put Optimus in your house for $5,000.
That's what he said. $5,000. He wants to do it for $5,000.
Service robot.
I'm a Dean. I'm a Dean's girl, Kurt. How about you, Carrie Lynn? Dean or Sam? Kurt wants to know.
Oh, Dean.
Yeah, both Dean girls from Supernatural because he said he loves Supernatural. Yeah, Dean girls.
Years, man.
Mostly because he was eating pie and burgers.
You know what? Optimus,
best sarcasm.
Optimus will help a lot of people. They'll help people who are disabled. It's going to help people who are elderly that want to stay home, and then have a full service robot that's fully connected.
Yeah, but you're not even thinking what really is going to go on here. So everybody's going to get one of these robots. They're going to be 1 million of them, 5 million of them, 10 million of them, 20 million of them, how many ever. And then we're going to go to war. And guess what? Everyone's going to get a gun.
If every robot's
going to get a gun.
America owns a robot. You're talking hundreds of millions of robots.
That's what I'm saying. And each one's going to get a gun.
But yeah, when it comes to blows, they're going to give them guns and send them out into the fields.
There you go. You got a big, huge ass army, and you don't even have to send your citizens.
What do you need a gun for? You just tell them to go choke the neighbor. So
but Chinese and Russians will
take his head off. I want to see his head. Bring me his head. He'll be like, yes, master.
I'm sure. What's his name's law will be in there.
Well, I would hope you couldn't say that because what if your significant other, your kid was PO'd at you, and they said to the robot, "Bring me his head."
Yeah,
I would imagine Asimov's law will be in.
The robot went berserk. It's not my fault.
You can't have any robots without a moral imperative. That's
good night, Heidi. Good night, Heidi.
Good night. Yeah, we're getting ready to get out of here, but you got to have a moral imperative if you're going to have robots. That's just how it is. Or they'll just go on the enemy side.
And there'll be those few people who find a hack to turn their robot into a killing machine, and those people will get the full boot of the law.
Well, no, it's done right. So if it's embedded in the chip, the actual microchip, there is no way to hack it. It's there for life, or until the chip is destroyed.
Drax comes along with the secret code, right?
No, even that's not going to work. The way microchips themselves are made, the chip part itself, the way it's made, once it's embedded in there, it's in there. There's no taking it out and getting rid of it. It's not. It becomes a function of the chip, and that's what you want because you can't change the internal function of a microchip once it's
there's not
complete.
A separate system in there altogether. Who says that there's not another system?
Because it's not where microchips are made.
Somewhere maybe in the pelvic region. Who knows?
No, man, that's not going to work. Once it's in the processor chip, the logic chip.
Buying a $5,000 robot, they ain't going to look inside to see what those computer chips.
It don't matter what they do. It's the government's going to do what they turn.
They're going to have sex with it. They're going to have it do things for them.
Oh my God, who wants to have sex?
That's it.
Okay, Michael.
Human beings always manage to do something negative with something good. They do.
Yeah.
Oh, there got lots of these. There'll be sex bots in the future, not these things, but.
Well, I mean, they're already working on that. There's like 2 or 3 companies that have been doing that.
She's really bad.
Those will be $25,000.
A business like McDonald's would rather have 5 of these robots than 5 workers, especially if they're $5,000 a piece. You know what I mean? You're saving a hell of a lot of money. They don't call in sick. There's no problems with them. You don't have to pay them. You just have to maintain them, and that's it.
We'll see if they can put a moral imperative in it. They might have a chance.
It's going to make people really more dependent on that type of world. What good are humans anyway after that?
Well, we're seeing that anyway, even without the robots. Just the zombies of cell phone people out there. They just mindlessly. They never look away from their phone. They have no idea what's going on around them. You could go, "Hey, you're on fire," and they'd be like, "What?" They have no idea what's going on.
Humans love to be controlled, though. I mean, that's the basis of religion. They just love to be controlled. And then they're looking for the next great thing to control them. And that's how simple it can be. Some of us strive for more. Some of us want more. You know what I mean? And some people don't. So,
you gonna say something?
Yeah.
Carrie Lynn's about to fall asleep. Look at her.
Yeah, I gotta tap out soon.
We'll have to send the voice to her. Have you ever had the voice used on you, Carrie Lynn?
No.
Oh, she hasn't.
Well, she woke up now.
Well, they'll have to think about this. Zach, who do you want to talk to? Oh, you just sit something. You got to be specific. Wait, you want somebody to call up a demon, a ghost demon? But do make your mind up.
Tell that
come
dude.
Come in a damn YouTube where I don't have to read.
Want to open the door with something negative. Believe me, I'm sure we can all attest to that.
You should have just typed that in the beginning, dumbass. So he's got a Ouija board, and now he's got something in his house.
Don't
mess with the Ouija board if you don't know what you're doing.
If you don't know what you're doing, that's right. If you don't know what you're doing.
That's
I can't even tell you how many times I've told people don't fuck with a Ouija board if you don't know what you're doing.
That's true.
Exactly.
We were messing around when I just
doing
35 years ago. We're messing around with one, and we're all in the hallway, and it's got the candles going, all kinds of stuff going. We're asking all kinds of questions, and I said, "Well, if we shouldn't be fucking with this, make some noise." All of a sudden, some just hit the ceiling. Boom, boom, boom. I said, I'm out here. See y'all later. Bye.
Same thing with me. I was playing with the Ouija board by myself, and it's something on the board that made me wig out. And this is what happened.
I know, and it's true. That's what happens. That's what happens.
I love my spirit board. I use it all the time.
I won't touch one again. I swear to God. The one we had we had two. One had a wooden, whatever that thing with the nail in it, and we had a plastic one. The plastic one didn't work so good. But the wooden one, no one was around to mess with, so I was like, I'll just ask some questions, and I forget what the answer was and what the question I asked was, but the answer, I was like, I put that thing in the box. I hid that damn thing as far as I could in the basement. Never saw it again.
I host seances a lot, and we use it for the seances as well too.
I can see it.
And the table tipping.
As long as you know how to protect yourself, I don't see what you do.
Well, you just use it, right, Carrie Lynn? You don't put nobody else's energy into it?
The people who come for the seance, you mean? Everybody gets to I'm doing it with them. But I open and close it, and I'm teaching them at the same time.
At this point, I would put Martha on the table and say, don't fuck up people. Don't call no demons in my house, or guess what? I'm going to introduce you to Martha.
We've never had an issue at this point.
It's
because you got to set your environment.
Well, every now and then we've run across some stuff. Matter of fact, one of the swamps I was telling you about earlier, we took a group out there. Two of these people died one died within 3 months, one died within 6 months. But the night of what happened was, we get back to the house, and three of them just freaked out. One of them I actually just lifted up and put through the wall, physically. Lifted him up, and then Ann pushed his ass through the wall. We're talking about a 6'2" man here. And I said, dude, what is wrong with you? Because he was losing his mind. And I just held him there, and I was fixing to knock his ass clean out when I forgot who it was, grabbed my other arm and just put all their weight on my arm, because it was going to be one of them long kind of, I'm going to knock you, almost kill you kind of punches. And it all got completely out of control. And then in the middle of it all, we were in the kitchen, and I was sitting on somebody's chest making him behave, and out came this voice, he'll be dead in 3 months, and that one will be dead in 6 months. And he lifted his hand up and pointed, and sure enough, one was dead in 3 months, one was dead in 6 months.
Wow.
I was like, yo, what the fuck was this we brought back with us? And then, of course, everybody freaked out after that, was doing all kind of spells in the house, trying to make sure nothing was in the house. Anytime I get worried about that, I just take out the Crawley cards or the cat cards and lay them out, and anything around just leaves. There's so much energy in them cards, they just leave. Mm-hmm. I mean, the cat cards alone, at least 500 spells, maybe more. It's they were used for all kind of people. I don't even want to think how much blood and other things is on them damn days.
Hey guys, I gotta tap out here, man.
We gotta go. It's you go get some rest, man. Get some sleep. Take care of yourself.
Good night, everybody.
Dream about the clown.
Hey, Sean.
I'm leaving.
Good luck
too.
on your
Good night,
show,
everybody.
Hi, Carrie.
Good night.
Be good, guys. Be good. Yes, we gotta go. It's past my bedtime. It's whatever. It's crack it if I pass my bedtime. I don't go to bed till early in the morning. We're getting ready to go. And again, it's been lovely having everybody on the show with us tonight. Michael will be here in a few minutes. He'll flip over and take over in just a couple of minutes. remember, any moans, groans, bitches, or complaints, send them to Laura Lee, and she can send them to
Okay.
Michelle DeRoche.
That's what I was typing to tonight. I said we're hanging out with the boys.
What's that? No, really, send them. If you get any complaints, send them Michelle DeRoche. If you're complaining about me personally, look, you can send it to whoever you want if you're complaining about me, because I'm just going to tell you to fuck off. So you're just basically wasting your time. It's what do you mean you're going to get me fired? Oh, go for it.
And Joe actually published my email on the public chat in the author's quill. So if you send them to me, they will also go ignored. So.
Oh, I'm glad you mentioned author quill. By the way, we still got about 5 of those posters left. Anybody who wants an original Frank Frazetta poster? It's one of the.
We were going to give stuff away.
Yeah, so it's for Battlefield Earth. Just send me your email at icarcox.net, and I will forward them to the person who will be mailing them out to you.
John Goodwin.
John Goodwin will be sending them out. Yes. I messed up good the other day with him. We were talking about. I was on the phone talking about something, and I said, I don't know how I said it. I said, oh yeah, he's a lot of fun to talk to, and in the afternoons and evenings. Oh, he's even fun to talk to in the morning. And it was the way I said it. I was like, oh wait, I hope Emily wasn't listening, John. I'm not sure that came out correctly. I was like, John, hey man, what can I say? I have to fuck up every once in a while. All right, guys and girls, we're going to turn this over to Michael Angley here in just a second. I want to thank everyone for tuning in to United Public Radio and the chat. Oh, excuse me. I want to thank Laura Lee and Michael and Carrie Lynn and Jay and who else was here? Oh, Sean and myself.
Extra Sean.
My cat that's decided she wants to be a podcast host, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, hey, they do that sometimes. Mark, I haven't seen you. Write to her and say, bitch, where you at? Yeah. That's all you got to do. Well, we have lots of females on the network, but we haven't extended it all out. And some of them can't come, like Michelle and Amelia. They're not invited because they're bad.
No, they're not.
Oh, I mean, they are so bad. They make Michael and I look like little angels.
Michelle curses like
that's why they're there.
It is damn right scary. But anyway, Amelia, if you're listening tonight, I hope you're feeling better, baby. Get yourself together. Get your ass back in the air. So I got somebody to pick on. Michelle's not as fun to pick on as Amelia is. Amelia fights back. She's like, kick your ass. Michelle's like, just fuck whatever. Leave me alone.
She knows you well.
Yeah, we've been friends long enough. She knows. But anyway, thanks again, ladies and gentlemen, for listening to United Public Radio in the chat. And Michael will be with you in probably 10 minutes or so or less. He's pretty fast. So good night, everybody.